Jorge capped a 6 RBI night by surpassing Yankees catching legend Yogi Berra on the franchise Grand Slam list. Swung on a long drive to deep right. That ball is high.
The Michael Kay Show, presented by Untuck It. Shirts designed to be worn untucked. Shop now at untuckit.com.
And a good afternoon, everybody. This is indeed the Michael Kay Show. We thank you for joining.
2 weeks later, Jorge got the chance to return to his baseball roots. In the ninth inning of the blowout game, Posada took the field in front of the plate rather than behind.
I told Joe, I said, can I play second base in the last inning? He's like, looked at me and like, really, you want to play second base? I said, yeah, I was second baseman. I would like to be out there.
Posada, when he started in the Yankee organization, started as a second baseman before the organization decided to switch him to catcher.
The Mike on Yes is presented by Untuck It. Shirts designed to be worn untucked. Shop now at untuckit.com.
There's a ground ball to Posada. How perfect.
And sure enough, got it hit right at me, and I wanted to throw it so hard to switch it that I kind of bounced it a little bit, but he picked me up.
He threw that ball as if he was trying to gun it to second base.
It was a lighthearted moment in a season that ended in disappointment for Jorge and the Yankees because they fell to the Detroit Tigers in the ALDS in 5 games.
The Detroit Tigers are headed to the American League Championship Series.
Posada hit .429 in the series. Despite his desire to continue playing, there was some indecision regarding his future until a conversation with a former Yankee helped clear the air.
I was at an event with Don Mattingly. He's like, are you considering retirement? And I'm like, yeah, I'm actually thinking about it. You know, I don't know. I said, you know what? If you're really thinking about retirement, retire as a Yankee.
Those words hit home for Jorge. So on January 24th, 2012, he decided to hang up his pinstripes.
Today is a very emotional day for me. I will officially announce that I'm retiring from playing the game of baseball. I want to thank the New York Yankees organization as a whole, especially the Steinbrenner family, my family away from home.
I felt a little sadness for him because I know he really, really loves the game. I'm not sure that he was totally ready to go, but I believe that he knew that if he was going to play anymore, it would have to be with somebody other than the Yankees, and I don't think he was prepared to do that.
For 17 years, Jorge Posada wore the pinstripes with passion, intensity, and pride. On August 22, 2015, with his family and former teammates in attendance, Jorge had his number 20 retired in Monument Park, cementing the continued legacy of great Yankees catchers.
Playing for the Yankees for 17 years and being able to be a part of 5 World Series championships, things like this is things that you will never forget.
I can honestly tell you, this is one of the happiest days of my life.
It was a great day. It was really awesome.
Having a plaque in Monument Park and having number 20 retired is an honor and a dream come true.
When you think of the great Yankee catchers of all time, Posada to me is in that special category of toughness and by any means necessary, do what you have to do to win today. And you know, when I think of Yankee great catchers, one of the best of all time, certainly, you know, belonging in Monument Park with the plaque.
17 big league seasons, 5-time All-Star, 5-time world champion. He had 20 more home runs in 8 seasons. That gets your number retired. When you look up at the retired numbers at Yankee Stadium, you see the 2 number 8s, Yogi and Bill Dickey. You see Elston Howard, number 32. You see number 15, Thurman Munson. And you know that Jorge Posada is one of the greats in the pantheon of Yankee catchers, so his number 20 should be up there as well.
Thank you for this honor. This is simply one of the best of my life. I love you all, and thank you again.
This is a fish, a clownfish actually. He lives in a reef like this, in an ocean like this. This ocean contains these currents. These currents help carry fishing boats like these. Fishing boats like these bring their catch to port. Their catch is loaded onto this truck and delivered to this restaurant. This restaurant serves dinner to this family. This family drives back to their home. Their home borders this forest. This forest surrounds this creek. This creek trickles into this river down to these mangroves. These mangroves buffer the coastline from this bay. This bay is a hunting ground for this shark. This shark swims out to this ocean. This ocean flows over this reef. This reef is home to this fish. This is a fish, a clownfish actually.
The Michael Kay Show on Yes is brought to you by Untuck It. Shirts designed to be worn untucked. Shop now at untuckit.com.
This is Yankees manager Aaron Boone, and the Michael Kay Show starts now on 98.7 ESPN New York. Have a great show, boys.
Aaron, we will talk to you at 4 o'clock, and we look forward to it because we have questions to ask, particularly with regard to Luis Severino, his health, and what is going on with him. Peter Rosenberg and Don LaGreca, 3 p.m. in the Tri-State. Don, how are you today?
Good. How are you, sir?
I got to tell you, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling fresh. You know, I hate to admit this, because I really would prefer to be lazy. But this week, I've barely napped. I've been forcing myself to get on the Peloton in the middle of the day instead. I think it does more for me energy-wise than the nap.
Yeah, I could see that.
As much as it like adds up at the end of the week without the nap. Like I feel fatigue, come the end of today. But as far as like on a daily basis, Don, I'll tell you what, that midday workout makes an impact.
I would think it just creates energy. I always found naps to kind of sometimes like sap me of my energy and just come out and just not feel great.
Oh, it's like you're pulling yourself out of a coma.
Yeah, and it's not good. So I can see
you know
that.
what though? There's a way to wake everyone up. There's a way to get your day truly going, and that is to get our day started with pre-NN.
Love it.
You know what I'm saying?
It's my favorite part of the day.
So why not?
11 to 6.
This is pre-NN special report. Now reporting.
How's my little peanut doing? Hey, Peter.
Dom will respond to Tristan. Jeez.
Now, from the ESPN New York news desk, here's
Rosenbaum or whatever that guy's name is.
Well, last night, Yankees win in walk-off fashion. 11 walk-off wins this season, tied with the 2000 Royals for the second most by a team prior to the All-Star break. The 74 Dodgers had 12 walk-off wins. Of course, Don, no one used the term walk-off back then, but that's what happened. Now, Sevy, rough night, 2 innings pitched, 4 earned runs, left to injury, shortest start of his career. Second shortest start of his career, I should say, shortest since 2016. And here's the most worrisome piece. His four-seam fastball averaged 94.1, which is his slowest in 119 career appearances, and, significantly. He averages 96 miles an hour for the season. Let's hear the play-by-play, though, of the LeMahieu walk-off last night by Kay.
And the pitch. And that one gets away as well. Here comes LeMahieu. He scores a walk-off wild pitch, and the Yankees win it 7-6. The birthday boy slides across with the winning run, and the Yankees win this one 7-6 in the Bronx.
There it is, the wild pitch, the win for the Yankees. Aaron Boone in the postgame. Don, could you tell something was off with Sevy?
Well, a little bit the velocity down. Then when I talked to him after the first inning, a little leery of letting it go, but he kept saying, I feel really good. Something was telling him to hold back a little bit. So, that was the biggest thing. And sometimes he can be that way a little bit early, where he'll kind of ease into it a little bit. And I think in his mind with his injury history, he gets a little cautious. But the whole time he was saying, I feel really good. But then, there's nothing there from a tightness standpoint. And I said, if you feel anything, you got to, and he was dead set on that. So I'm glad he did that, and we'll see what we got tomorrow.
So, Don, I got to ask you, we give Yankee fans a hard time every day.
I hope they lose.
For that, right? For focusing on the negative.
Right.
But I ask you, great that they ended up pulling off a win, because 2 straight to Cincy certainly would have been bad. But, Don, are you, at this moment, if you're a Yankee fan, concerned at all about how different this rotation feels now versus, say, 6 weeks ago?
Of course. I think you'd be foolish not to be a little bit concerned about it, because what are you doing, Peter? You're not analyzing, can you win this division? You're analyzing, can you get home field? And the reason you want that is because you want to be able to have that home field advantage against the Astros in a league championship series, making sure if there's a Game 7 that it's in your building, the first 2 games in your building. But more importantly than anything is, how is your starting rotation going to work out? And this team's got the best record in baseball, mainly because they've had tremendous pitching from the rotation and the bullpen. And as of late, there's been some hiccups over the last, 3 starts. Nestor Cortez's earned run average is over 4. Taillon has been somewhat hittable in his last few outings. The bullpen has looked shaky over the last week. Holmes bounced back last night, but still a little shaky with the strike zone. He didn't have any help defense-wise behind him. But you want to make sure that the reason that you were great at the beginning of the season continues to be solid, and right now it's got a little hiccup. We'll talk to Aaron Boone coming up at 4 to get his thoughts not just on Severino's injury, but just how he feels right now outside of Cole about the rest of this rotation moving forward.
It's just very interesting to think about, and you have to be so grateful, Don, for the clutch genes in this team, and particularly, can we take a moment for Giancarlo Stanton? Another huge moment last night, the home run to tie it in the 8th. This is, I think, his 5th of the season. You know, considering how much noise there was when he came here, and I get it. Let's be honest, okay? If your expectation for Giancarlo Stanton coming here was he was going to be MVP Giancarlo Stanton, competing for the MVP every year, I understand why you'd be disappointed. No, he has not been that. But over the last couple of years, Don, what he has become is a really solid number 2 guy to Aaron Judge, and a guy who was clutch and was their best hitter in the playoffs last year. And now has come up clutch for them this year many times.
When you take a look, and we get on Yankee fans, as you say, because they always just seem to hold their team to a different standard than I think any other fan base in New York. But if you want something to complain about, don't complain about Gallo. Don't complain about Stanton. Don't complain about Cole. Don't complain about Aaron Boone. Now, those are the top 4, right, of the things that fans over the last couple of years have complained about. But right now, Cole's your best pitcher, and we'll see what happens in the playoffs. You know, Boone has done, I think, an excellent job managing this team. Stanton has been clutch, and Gallo has not hurt this team. They won't allow Gallo to hurt him. This team is fine offensively. If you want to complain, you know, just wonder, is this rotation going to be able to hold up outside of Cole for the rest of the season, to hold off the Astros for home field and in the postseason? And this bullpen, which has been excellent. You know, it's not a lot of guys, Peter, that have had a tremendous track record either. I mean, King has been great. Holmes has been great. But do these guys have a track record that you're going to feel really good about them in the playoffs to get the job done? So don't worry about the offense. Worry right now about this pitching and finding the consistency of it. And Chapman, to me, does not seem like an answer in that bullpen. So they'll make a deal, and they probably have to make a deal for an arm.
Well, you're talking about deals. Well, let's talk about Benintendi for a second. Here's Jeff Passan on SportsCenter talking about Benintendi's lack of vaccination situation and how that impacts his trade value.
It really complicates things, frankly, for any team in the American League East, but especially the Toronto Blue Jays, a team that was absolutely tailor-made for Andrew Benintendi's skill set. He's hitting .317 this year. He's a left-handed batter. He's a corner outfield. It's everything that the Blue Jays need. Not only the Blue Jays, though, Nicole, the New York Yankees could use a player like Andrew Benintendi. The Boston Red Sox could. The Tampa Bay Rays could.
Is there anyone else, Don, in this situation in baseball right now? Benintendi's the only name I've heard of with regard to the vaccination situation.
Yeah, but there was like 10 Royals that weren't able to travel to Toronto, including 4 guys that would have been in their starting lineup. Now, I don't know of anybody that's got trade value like Benintendi. And we talked about it yesterday. The Yankees have 3 more games in Toronto in September, which I think are It's the penultimate series, I think, of the regular season. So it could still be big as far as holding off the Astros. So does that stop you? Does it stop you at the possibility of facing Toronto in the playoffs? I don't know. I mean, right now, Toronto's got the last wild card, so there's a chance you might have to face them. Do you want to acquire somebody that might not be able to play in Toronto at the final week of the season in a possible playoff series? You have to think about it. I mean, if you really want him, I think you could probably not get around him not playing in Toronto, just surviving it. But sure.
Let's move on to the Knicks for a moment. Bing bong. The latest on Donovan Mitchell. Shams Charania and The Athletic. The Jazz are having conversations with multiple teams on a Mitchell deal, but the Knicks have emerged as the focus destination over the last several days. Both sides have discussed a deal framework in the past 24 hours. Utah had long expressed a desire to keep Mitchell, to try to build around him. So the bar for trading Mitchell is high, and according to league sources, indeed the asking price in initial discussions has been substantial. But one thing that appears clear, Don, is that this is not all just like media babble. The Knicks are the team in the conversation. Here's Windhorst on with Greeny. Knicks are in a situation to make a move for Mitchell.
They are going to want a draft pick-centered trade. And the Knicks, among the teams that would have huge interest in Donovan Mitchell, have the draft picks. They own 11 different picks to choose from over the next 7 years. You're only allowed to trade 4 of yours, but they have 4 other teams they can trade, so they have up to 8 that they can trade. Now, some of them are pretty heavily protected. They would be less valuable in a trade than, let's say, New York Knicks' unprotected future picks, which I'm sure the Jazz would ask for. But they are just better positioned on this.
So, Don, what do you think? Is this a real possibility, or is this us just being yo-yos and having fun?
It's sounding real. You know, Windhorst said it yesterday, and then again today about the picks. You know, we're talking about them probably having to give up Barrett, but maybe not. Maybe those 8 picks are enough. Maybe Toppin's enough. If you can do this without giving up Barrett, then yeah, I think it's a thing.
See, that's sort of how I feel, Don. Like, I'd be curious if there are Knicks fans out there who think, okay, if we can get it done without Barrett going, even if that means Obi, even if that means a bunch of picks, I'm good with it. Because I'm telling you right now, I don't, how do we know? But to me, Don, it seems impossible that you would possibly get out of this thing not moving Barrett or Toppin. So you're going to give up something. He's a great player. If you want him, now listen, you can make the argument that he's not the piece that makes sense for them. That they went out and got Brunson. They have RJ. They already have a small backcourt. That they stay pat right there. That's a fine argument. But, Don, if you do want Mitchell, you have to give up something.
Well, this is what, it gets bounced around as a possibility for a deal. Anthony, who was it that sent you sent me an article? I'm reading it now. Tim McMahon.
That would be the great Tim McMahon, right. Yeah.
Mitchell and Rudy Gay come to the Knicks for Fournier, Reddish, Toppin, McBride, first-round picks in 23, 25, and 27. What says you about that?
So, Don, I'm good on that. Like, I mean, I'm good with it, I should say. Good on it makes it sound like I don't want it. I'm good with it. I'm good with that.
Yeah, I think I am too.
It's a big haul. It's a big haul. But to not, in my opinion, if you love Mitchell, to not have to move Barrett and to still get him, you know me. I've expressed this. I'm sick of the Knicks being all about the future, the future, the future. At some point, the future has to be now. And if you can do it, Don, and not give away your best young player with promise, I love that move.
And he's young enough where you could say you're still going to be competitive in 2027 to where you're not going to be like, oh, my God, I can't believe we've got a lottery pick here and we don't have it because we traded it away. I mean, I would think that those guys would still be contributing to a team that might be really competitive in the Eastern Conference. Now, does it put them up there with Milwaukee, with Philadelphia, with Boston? I mean, maybe at some point. Those are two pretty good players. And listen, you're giving up Reddish. I know that would hurt. Toppin hurts a little too. But you got to give to get. And you'd still have Barrett, to be able to build around. Gay and Mitchell with the deals you've already made. You got Brunson. You still have Randall. I think I do that.
Let's hear Bobby Marks on SportsCenter. What would it take for the Knicks to get Donovan Mitchell?
I think when you look at the Knicks, it's going to be how much restraint do they have, right? They've got 8 first-round picks that they can put in a potential deal. They've got four of their own and picks from Dallas. And I think it starts with certainly R.J. Barrett for me. Going into the last year of his contract, is extension eligible here. Remember, Donovan Mitchell makes $30 million, so we've got to get to about $24 million, and that's where you see a player like Evan Fournier is in there. So you go, Fournier, R.J. Barrett, 5 first-round picks. That is certainly a haul, and remember, we saw in the Rudy Gobert trade, 4 first-round picks for Gobert. So it is going to cost the Knicks if they want Donovan Mitchell, but they do have the draft assets and players to get a deal done.
Let's get into Game Time, brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey. So, Don, it'll be interesting to see over the next couple of days what happens here. Nice to see. I would imagine, I guess, if you're a Knicks fan, it's nice that you're seriously in the conversation. Because it seems like on some level the Knicks are always tangentially in the big trade conversation. This one feels legitimate.
Have you really heard anybody else? I guess Miami? But
yeah, that
if
was
it's
mentioned.
all about the pick, I think the Knicks are being mentioned because it sounds like it's all about the picks, and the Knicks have more picks than anybody. And picks, a lot like free agency, cap space is air. What is it going to be? Are you going to select the right guy? Where's that pick going to be? As far as getting young stars, Peter's where it's at. And now, is he a superstar? No. But is he a star? Mid-20s? That's kind of what you're looking to draft, right? And if you can, if you can get it, I know we get all caught up. You want cap space. All right, well, does anybody want to come and play for you? Oh, I got all these draft picks, but are these draft picks going to pan out? It's not quite a crapshoot. There's an expertise to drafting. Some can do it, some can't. Their history tells you they can't. But still, it's nice to have the picks, but also those picks can be used as assets to go out and acquire a 25-year-old star. So what are you doing?
Let's open up the phone lines, Don, and talk to the people. 1-800-919-3776. Get into all of it during this pre-NN. We'll start off with the Knicks and Nick in Sayreville. What's up?
Doug.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, Doug in Long Island. Doug, what's up?
Hey, guys. How are you?
Good, man. How are you?
Subject, great. I think you're right. It's kind of strange. And before you kill me, full disclosure, I'm Steve Mills' younger brother. He worked there for a while to get the space cleared. And Billy Donovan, a teammate of mine, said, Doug, that's why I never want to coach in New York, because they expect you to rebuild and win at the same time. You didn't win games under your brother, but he's the only one ever that created that kind of cap space and got the best pick that they've had in 15 years. Now you have the assets. Now they have to figure out what to do. So, it's not all sugar and spice, but you have decisions to make. And thank God he couldn't sign Kyrie. He had KD signed, but Kyrie pulled him away, as Stephen A. Smith appropriately reported. That deal was done. They worked on a number of years, and Kyrie pulled them away. But thank God we didn't go through that, because we're all still Knicks fans. Doesn't matter.
Well, Doug, thank you for the call. Appreciate it. And Don, by the way, we barely even I didn't mention Kyrie. Now the word now coming out of Nets camp, speaking of Kyrie, that he would now in fact be fine playing next season in Brooklyn.
Okay, so what do you read into that? That there isn't any place for KD to move, and that KD may stay.
So I feel like both of them may be looking around going, did we play this hand wrong? And I'm not saying that the NBA would have colluded against KD. Certainly not officially. But, Don, you think it's possible that there's a world in which it's summer league, people are talking and all going, dude, let's none of us bite on this KD thing.
Well, you don't have to collude. It's the feeling of, it sounds like he wants to go to a ready-made champion. So if you're not a ready-made champion, you don't want to do it. Because do I want to be in the same boat the Nets are a year from now? That's the one thing I take exception to Steven when we had him on a couple of weeks ago, that he's a really great asset to trade because he's got 4 years left on his contract. Usually players that have 4 years left, it's a player option the fourth year. He doesn't have a player option in the fourth year. So that seems attractive, Peter, but do you want to be the Nets a year from now, 2 years from now, where he's going to be begging out then? Like this, it's an attractive player in principle because he is a great player, but he could also end up being a headache for you if you don't win right away. And there's a lot of organizations that don't want to bend over backwards for the player, the way the Nets were willing to do. So maybe you don't even have to collude, Peter. It's just reading the writing on the wall. Do I want to sign up for a Brooklyn Nets situation next summer or the summer after that?
So funny. Whenever I think about the Nets too, Don, I get frustrated. When I saw the news about Kyrie's camp floating that Kyrie might just be happy to stay in Brooklyn, it got me crazed to think about, like, the team they could return next year, Don. Why would they not be in the conversation for a top 3 team in the East? Like, so I guess my question is, if it's really about a ready-made championship, how ready-made does it have to be? Because with Joe Harris returning, they re-signed Patty Mills. If Ben Simmons is some facsimile of Ben Simmons, Don, it's totally reasonable that they could compete for the East next year. I wish I understood what it was that made them decide to leave. It's still so odd to me. You have KD, who was paid to rehab by the Nets, happily signed an extension this year. You have Kyrie, who brought so much attention, negative attention, and controversy to the team. They stood by him completely. And at the end, everyone says they want to go.
Is it possible that it's just, because we've all been in this situation before, an overreaction? All right, let's say that he did not want to see Kyrie leave, and he was truly upset that Brooklyn didn't keep Kyrie beyond this upcoming season. And his reaction was, well, get me the heck out of here. I don't want to be here. The Nets don't want to win. They're not giving my guy a long-term contract. Get me out of here. And then you start asking around and looking and saying, really, is there anywhere that he could go that's better than the 1 year he can spend in Brooklyn? And then they can trade him. He'll still have 3 years left on his deal after this one, maybe with a ring on his finger, and then try to exit there. So do you think after cooler heads prevailed, after he sat down and talked to Kleiman and had a conversation with Marks and just said, you know what, maybe with all the trade scenarios, I'm just better off spending the year here. I don't know. And he just needed the assurance from Brooklyn that they were going to keep Kyrie for this season. And now what does Kyrie do? We hear that he'd be okay with spending the last year of his contract in Brooklyn. That, if I had to guess, I think that's how it went down.
All right, well, that's Game Time, brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey. During the big games this season, enjoy Tullamore Dew, the original triple blended, triple distilled, triple cask matured Irish whiskey. Remember, when it's game time, it's Tully time. Please enjoy responsibly. And I have a little bit in front of me here for a Yankees injury report brought to you by the Total Orthopedics Spine and and Sports Medicine. Don, Laura Albany's reporting on Twitter. Severino said he still feels discomfort and is waiting on MRI results. Doesn't know if he'll skirt an IL stint, but still doesn't believe the injury to be overly serious. And that's the Yankee injury report, brought to you by Total Orthopedic Spine and Sports Medicine. Total Ortho Express is Long Island's premier orthopedic immediate care where no appointment is needed. After all, time doesn't heal wounds. They do. We'll talk about that. Everything else, Yankees, your concerns about this rotation and Sevy in particular. Maybe some props for Giancarlo Stanton. Could I hear someone be willing to say, hey, maybe I was wrong on Stanton? And we'll do everything. Aaron Boone, 4 o'clock, Don. Ian at 6.
That's right.
There's a daily Don today. Oh, we have a lot to do. Hang tight. It's the K Show on Yes and 98.7 ESPN.
I chose Upstart because I was on financial aid for school. It did run out. Once I found Upstart, I was kind of relieved. They're interested in my background. They were looking at more than just my credit score. I was able to get my money fast. I was able to consolidate all of those credit cards into one payment and raise my credit score so that I was able to make that move right after college.
We call them pets, but really, they're family. Siblings, fur babies, and you can trust pet meds to keep them healthy for years to come. Protect them with the right flea and tick medication and heartworm prevention. And with PetMeds' fast, free shipping and convenient auto ship, there's never been an easier way to keep your pet, family, healthy. Go to PetMeds.com today and get 35% off your first auto ship order with promo code WELL35. PetMeds, your trusted pet health expert.
At my door in under 60 minutes. Drizzly also lets me shop from multiple stores in my area and compare prices on thousands of products.
Ding dong, Drizzly.
Grubhub delivers convenience items.
Grubhub delivers convenience items?
Life gets bigger when you break from the herd. The Volkswagen Tiguan. Visit your Volkswagen dealer today to learn more about the 2022 Tiguan, starting at $26,490. Limited inventory available.
Tonight, the Yanks are seeing reds as they wrap up their series with Cincinnati.
Monster home run!
And during the telecast, Yes highlights a special charity auction in support of the Anthony Rizzo Foundation. Yankees-Reds series coverage continues tonight at 6 on Yes, New York's most-watched sports network.
When I was younger, I may have did some stupid things. Even committed some crimes. Even got shot. But I'm not a criminal.
I work for youth advocate programs, yeah. I was Tamani's advocate, helping him stay out of jail, stay in the neighborhood, and get a job.
As a little kid, I experienced trauma and I acted out. I made some mistakes, but I'm not a mistake.
No, she's a good student and a great kid. As Jalen's YAP advocate, I'm always here for her.
Lots of times I'm told what I can't do. What's impossible for people like me is enough to make you lose hope. But I am not hopeless.
No way. We're working together to help Gavin see his talents and his future.
YAP is a community-based alternative to youth incarceration, congregate placement, and neighborhood violence. After completing our program, 86% of participants were living in their communities, arrest-free.
And now, I'm a YAP advocate, helping kids like me find a better way.
Youth advocate programs. Others talk social change. We make it happen.
It's Liberty Bell closest to the rail. Around the back turn. And here's our horses come. Maverick with on the outside. And there we go. They come down the line again.
Add drama to every drive. The exhilarating Audi SUV family. Get exceptional offers at your local Audi dealer.
So, what's the secret? How have you guys made it work so long?
We have a deep, almost spiritual connection.
I'm his plumber.
It's like he knew my water heater needed a tune-up before I even asked. Like he's reading my mind.
That's not mind reading. That's just automated email reminders through constant contact that I send out to all my clients.
Wait, how many clients do you have?
Oh, I mean, I have a couple others.
It's time for an unforgettable New York summer.
It's a summertime thing.
It's a summertime thing. Summertime thing. It's a summertime thing.
Find your summertime thing in New York. Plan it all at iloveny.com/summer.
The 201 horsepower turbocharged Kia Forte GT. Finally, a reason to wear those aviator sunglasses you've had in the glove compartment all this time.
The stars are out tonight.
This is so much fun to watch.
He put it into orbit. Razzle dazzle. Oh, next level.
Shut it down. It's what champions are made of.
Baseball is back. It should be fun.
With your DraftKings Sportsbook update powered by VSiN, I'm Ben Wilson. The Buffalo Bills enter 2022 as the favorites to come out of the AFC at DraftKings. 3-1 short shots this year, while numbers 2 through 4 on the odds board are all from the same division, the AFC West, with the Chiefs at 6-1, Chargers at 7.5-1, and the Broncos coming in at plus 850. If you're wondering about last year's AFC champs, the Cincinnati Bengals, they're next on the list, joined by AFC North rival Baltimore. Those two teams each at 10-1. Meanwhile, the Colts with a new quarterback in Matt Ryan sit at 12-1 on the odds board, while the Browns and all their offseason uncertainty sit right behind them at 14-1. Further down, it's a number of teams who are in interesting spots this year. Titans 18-1, Dolphins and Raiders each at 20-1, while the Patriots sit at 25-1 on the odds board.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now, and new customers can get a deposit bonus up to $1,000. Don't wait. This exclusive offer ends soon. Download the app and use promo code YES when you sign up.
Show. It is time for Where Should We Go? How about Diamond Notes, brought to you by 2 by London, the engagement shop at London Jewelers.
Yes.
And Don, how much, get out of there, Bear, how much worse would it have been? How much worse would Yankees fans be feeling today? Or maybe it makes no difference. If not only did they worry about Sevy, but they had managed to lose again to the Reds last night.
Again, the Reds are better. What did they get? What did they start? Like 3-21, something ridiculous. So they've actually played better, but it's still a team that you would think the Yankees would flatten at home and lose, 2 games in a row against the Reds. That would be 4 in a row overall. I still kind of feel like it's one of those wins where Yankee fans, as thrilled as they were that they won it, and as you said, another walk-off wild pitch, you thought, that was a thing 20 years ago. They've almost feels like a loss.
Let's go to
right? Like this is what it took for us to be able to beat the Reds.
I guess you're right. But it still feels better than a loss. Everything does. Let's go to Dave in Rochester.
Dave.
What's up, Dave?
Yes, I have a new Yankee Western New York Mafia, and this is a new group we have together on Facebook.
Okay.
And we're just trying to get members to join our group and have the Yankees support our team. And we're trying to get the station to maybe promote our group.
Well, what's the benefit to one joining the Western NY Mafia if they're a Yankee fan? What do they gain from this?
Oh, we're going to gain. It's going to be like the Bills Mafia. Like they have theirs, we're going to have ours, and we're going to try to get new members to go and maybe go see a couple games.
Okay.
You
do the whole jumping through.
Made.
What about the jumping through tables things that the Bills Mafia does?
No, none of that.
That's kind of what the Bills Mafia is known for.
We sit in the.
It's sort of like it's sort of removing the best part of the gimmick. I'll be honest. That's my concern, Dave.
Yeah. How about getting the Yankees? How about trying to get it so big, Dave, that the Yankees play an exhibition game up there or something? Now we're talking.
Now you're talking.
That would be great.
We'll hold our breath for that. Dave, thank you for the call.
Oh, he's gone. So I was going to say, if he wants to just throw out the information, if people want to join it, I guess search for it on Facebook.
Well, no,
Western New York
on Facebook.
Mafia Yankees, and join up. And if you get enough support, then maybe the Yankees will think about doing something up there. Sure, there's some Blue Jay fans up there, but I would still think it's New York that you might be able to get some Yankee fans, and maybe they'll.
Yeah, it's definitely Blue Jay
it's still
country.
Crossing the border, and I could see there's a lot of Yankee fans. I'm sure Andrew saw a lot of Yankee fans up in Syracuse, right, when you were going to school there?
Yeah. I would have liked a better pitch from Dave when I asked him what membership
I'm a little worried about the name. Like the Bills Mafia, Bills is right there in the title. This is just Western New York Mafia.
It's very off-putting. It actually sounds like something you could be investigated for joining.
That's a thing. There's a few people up there that maybe were Western New York Mafia.
I love the idea of people just searching for mafia groups on Facebook, trying to find fellow fans, and before
I don't
you know
see anything about the Yankees, but some guy named
door.
Joey Knows
Joey knows. He knows Joey Clams. Let's go to Joe on Long Island. Hey, Joe, what's up?
What's going on,
What's
fellas?
up?
Thanks for taking my call.
Of course.
I just wanted to make 2 points, one about RJ and one about Donovan. So RJ the last 3 years has improved every year.
Yep.
His first year was 14, second year 17, last year 20. Now he shoots 70% from the free throw range, and he shoots about 6 threes a game. So you telling me if he could get to the line one more time, give me 2 more shots and 1 more three, we talking about 25, maybe 26 points a game. That's all-star level status, if you ask me, and everybody in New York's going to vote for him. He plays great defense. He's 6'6", and he plays the best perimeter person on the opposite side of the team. Why would we get Donovan, who's 6'1", don't play no defense for Thibodeau? You know, he had Rudy Gobert over there for multiple years, defensive player of the year. They were a first seed. Like, I don't think he's a great fit for here at this time. You know, I mean, if we could trade maybe Grimes and Obi and a couple picks, I'll take it, but
I think we're with you. Peter, I think we're in lockstep with Joe that giving up Barrett would be a bridge too far.
I don't think Donovan Mitchell, he's great. I don't think he's great enough to give up someone with Barrett's ceiling, who's your own guy, who is developing a real love here. You know what I mean? Like, fans are starting to go down the road with RJ. It took a little time. There was a little bit of, you know, not getting Zion hangover that existed for a bit. But now, Don, a couple years in, I think people are starting to really fall for this kid. And as the caller pointed out, it's now 3 straight years of getting better. 14 a game, 17 a game, 20 a game. Needs to get the three-point percentage up. But if he were able to do that, Don, and we've talked about this last year, in 2020, he shot 40% from 3. This year, he was back down to 34%. If he could live in the low 40s, Don, I think that average of his, because right now he's shooting about, he's 2 for 6 from 3 per game. If you can get that up a bit higher, that average is up to 23 points a game. You're feeling pretty good about where RJ Barrett is.
Now, here's what I'm kind of coming off of with the whole Utah Jazz trade is I'm starting to find it less believable that they would keep him. I think they want to trade him. Like, because we were
It's starting to feel that way. It's certainly getting more realistic.
When we talked about it yesterday, we're like, wait a minute, they don't have to trade him. They're just kind of putting out feelers. They're going to need to get blown away. 24 hours later, I'm not sure. Okay, because the more you hear about it, the more it sounds like they want to trade him, and their leverage is, well, we don't have to trade him. But when I'm starting to hear some of these proposals, it sounds like they're hot to trade him, and if that's the case, well, then take Barrett right off the table. And I think that offer that McMahon brought out there is a good one. Those 4 players and those 3 first-round picks, you keep Barrett, then that's doable. I thought yesterday that wouldn't be enough to blow them away, but now I'm not sure they have to be blown away. Now I think they're hot to get them rid of them.
Let's go to Richard in Connecticut. What's up, Richard?
Hello.
Hey.
How are you? And thanks for taking my call.
Thanks for calling, Richard.
This is a first-time caller. I'm a senior citizen. I've been following the Yankees ever since Don Larson, Yogi Berra.
Mid-50s.
And I'd like to make a couple statements and then hang up, and I'd like to hear your reply.
All right. We're ready, Richard. What do you got?
I don't think the present Yankee management team has the moxie of the old man Steinbrenner to make any changes as far as some of the players on the team that are not performing. The old man would have gotten rid of half of the team already, even though they have a good record. And also, I'd like to compliment Peter on his work with the WWE.
No.
I'll hang up and hear you.
That last part really surprised me. I wasn't seeing that coming, but let's save that till the end.
Thank you. Don't forget WWE Smack Talk this Sunday at 11 on A&E. Okay.
I got to tell you, Richard's out of his mind. All right? Let me just say it. With all the affection in my heart. How do I say this, Peter, without getting in trouble? We're on Yes. I'm sure Hal's got this on in his office, getting ready to watch his beloved Yankees take on the Reds tonight. Tell me how I do, okay? All right?
Okay.
I think the boss, the old man, as Richard put it, is more legend than reality. You know, as much as George did well, he did just as much poorly. His overreactions, as he said, he would have gotten rid of everybody. There was a lot of years that was a mistake, that it almost crippled and ruined this franchise. And then the old man that Richard's referring to, the post-suspended Steinbrenner, when he kind of cooled his jets a little bit, let his baseball people run things, that's when this team really got going. So George Steinbrenner was a great owner. But the George Steinbrenner that everybody says that George would never tolerate that, that's not the good George. That's the bad George, the overreaction George. So the legend, Peter, the myth, the character of George Steinbrenner is this guy, this hothead, this guy that overreacted. More times than not, that's the bad George. That's not the George that got 4 championships in 5 years. That might have been the George that won in 77 and 78. That's the good part of the overreacting George. But then there's the whole decade of the 80s and the early 90s when the team was an absolute mess because of all the great prospects they traded away, the feud that he had with Dave Winfield, the reason a lot of players didn't want to come here and play. That was the negative, and that was the overwhelming majority of that George. And then when finally he cooled his jets and allowed Watson and Cashman and Stick to run the show, so they've kind of combined the good George and bad George into this great legend. There's a lot of negative there, Peter. And if the George of the 70s, of the 80s were running this team, then maybe we wouldn't see them be the best team in baseball. Maybe if the old George ran things in the late 90s and early 2000s, then maybe we would have never seen the Jeters and the Williams and the Pettits because they would have all been dealt away. So can we just get the reality of George Steinbrenner out there, please?
So it's funny. He almost said it perfectly, but in the point Richard was trying to make, he almost proved the opposite. He would have gotten rid of half the team by now. Well, maybe you're right. That wouldn't have been good. It's a really good team. Why would you want half the team?
And I know
to be
I'm a
gone
Met fan,
by
but I know a lot about the Yankee history, and I just read The Franchise by Mark Feinsand, which was outstanding, and I just finished the Ricky book that also talks a lot about the bad George Steinbrenner era when Ricky was there, back in the mid-'80s and all that. So, and I was around, and I lived it, and I saw it. And I'm not going after George. George is what he is. There's a lot of good, there's a lot of bad. And ultimately, the good shone through in his later years, and what the Yankees are has a lot to have to do with him. But Hal is not George. And to me, Peter, that's not all negative. To me, it's mostly positive. So the fans got to get they've taken all the pieces of George and built a myth, quite frankly. They've built a myth. The reality is that there was good and bad in George. And the stuff that you want Hal to be was the bad, the overreaction, the firing of managers. Stop it.
And do you see how he treated George Costanza? It was crazy. That's Diamond Notes, brought to you by 2 by London, the engagement shop by London Jewelers. Pick or design the perfect engagement ring to fit every budget at any of their 6 area locations. More of your calls on all of this next, plus our guy, Aaron Boone, joining us at 4 o'clock. We'll try to get more info on the Sevy situation. Peter and Don on The Kay Show on Yes and 98.7 ESPN.
Wedding planning is a journey. At Zola, we're here for all of it. Like our registry. Add gifts and more from our store, or any store. Shoppable right on your free wedding website. Plus, one-on-one help when you or guests need it. For your wedding journey, there's one place to start. Zola.
Let's talk about the bullpen. Their starters are averaging 6+ innings a game, by far the best in the league.
It's the question that won't go away. With all the superstars on the court, the problem has to be in the front office.
They have the elite quarterback. They have the skill players on offense. Will the defense carry its weight? The Athletic delivers exclusive access to the sports stories you care about
People I
most.
know inside the building say he's gone after this year.
With personalized coverage built around your teams. Subscribe today for $1 a month at theathletic.com/TV.
Away suitcases are designed with 360-degree spinner wheels, so you can go with the flow.
Over the years, I learned that I had a strong passion for creating my own business and having the freedom to live life on my own terms.
Zen Business has helped thousands of entrepreneurs just like us take care of the boring business stuff so that we can focus on launching and running a successful business.
Their all-in-one digital platform allowed me to start and grow my business quickly.
Their step-by-step digital process makes filing a breeze so that we can focus on what really matters.
Zen Business gave me the resources and confidence to excel.
Start your business today by going to zenbusiness.com/TV.
Hello.
Hi.
Are we ready?
Let's get started.
That's an off. Good.
That's what I've been this whole time.
Wisdom.
Chiffon.
Sometimes, refueling can feel like a mad dash. At Factor, we get that. You want to do it right, but you also want to do it right away. Because, let's be real, eating well is just one of your goals. Start the new year off right with Factor. It's ready when you are. No matter where you're headed, you can count on Factor. Use code READY120 for up to $120 off.
Custom shirts help people feel like they're part of a team. My name is Timothy Chi, and I'm the CEO of Wedding Art. We're very proud customers of Custom Ink. We keep coming back to Custom Ink because of the quality of the product, the customer service, and the ease of use. That moment you walk in the office and people are wearing the same gear, you feel a sense of connectedness and belonging right away. And our shirts from Custom Ink help bring us together.
Custom Ink has hundreds of products to help you feel connected. Upload your logo or start your design today at customink.com.
Dear gas prices, Toyota's hybrid lineup says, go take a hike, because we bring efficiency with power and savings with style. Think you can stand in our way? We got this. Toyota Hybrids.
Get 1.9% APR financing for a full 48 months on the fuel-efficient Highlander or Highlander Hybrid. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Hey everyone, I'm Ali Melendez. Join me for a brand new series, Well Life NYC. Woo! We're taking a wellness journey to explore what New Yorkers are doing to be their happiest and healthiest selves. Stream new episodes of Well Life NYC now on the S app.
The stars are out tonight.
This is so much fun to watch.
He put it into orbit. Razzle dazzle. Oh, next level.
Shut it down.
What champions are made of.
Baseball is back. It should be fun.
I am Anthony Rizzo, and I am a cancer survivor. 100% of families battling cancer need hope. I'm excited to be teaming up with the Yes Network for the Swing for the Fences Yes Auction as the Yankees take on the Reds. All throughout the broadcast, learn more about the Anthony Rizzo Family Foundation and look out for one-of-a-kind experience auction items to bid on.
Starting Thursday, July 14th at 6 on Yes and the Yes app.
Sure. Peter and Don on a Thursday. Big list. Don, you want to tease us with what this list is?
Oh, it's football. Football. It's the sport of kings, better than diamond rings. That's why we're here to sing football. What movie?
Say it again.
It's the sport of kings, better than diamond rings. That's why we're here to sing football. Football.
I have no idea.
Never. Go! Hey, go! Andrew, any guess?
I have no clue.
It's a football movie, mid-'80s. Goldie Hawn coaches a high school football team with Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes as the stars in a movie they like to call Wildcats.
Wow, Wildcats.
Come on, you got Goldie Hawn, Wesley Snipes, Woody Harrelson, Leslie Nielsen. Not Leslie Nielsen. Who's the who was the principal? I'm going to look it up. I'm sorry.
Well, while Don looks that
you
up,
have no,
no,
still
I've heard
don't
of Wildcats. I've heard of it. I never saw it. I've heard of it. I know it's a football movie from the '80s. Yeah,
I'm sorry that I'm passionate.
In the meantime, while Don looks that up, Yankees starting lineup brought to you by Bigelow Tea. Don, quick guess.
Nipsey Russell. I'm sorry.
Ah, the great Nipsey Russell.
Not Hustle, Russell.
No, not the rapper, the great rapper Nipsey Hussle. God rest his soul. You're talking about Nipsey Russell.
That's right. Bruce McGill.
So Don, do you have a guess here?
I'll say he had a big night last night offensively, so that usually means he needs a rest. I'll say Kiner Falefa.
All right, that's one, Don. There's a 2 spot today, though.
We got 2 rested players?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Well, and obviously not including Hicks. Well, you know what? Because he also, since I'm going to go on the big night theme, I'll say Stan.
Incorrect. Here we go. LeMahieu leading off.
Okay.
Judge batting second. Rizzo third. Stanton cleanup. Carpenter fifth. Torres sixth. Gallo seventh. Trevino eighth. Gonzalez playing short and batting ninth.
So the whole left side of the infield is taking off because Donaldson is the other, I guess.
That's right. And Nasty Nestor Cortez on the hill for your New York Yankees. That's today's Yankee starting lineup, brought to you by Bigelow Tea. Bigelow Tea is a proud supporter of the Michael Kay Show and the official hot tea of Joe Torre and the New York Yankees. Back to the phones, 1-800-919-3776. Let's go to Michael in Queens. What's up, Michael?
Yo, what's up, Peter? How's it going?
Chilling, man. What's good?
I like to say hello to Peter, and I like to say hello to Don.
Hello.
This is Michael Kay calling in for the Michael Kay since he's missing in action.
Wow.
What I like to say is, yo, Don.
Ray-Ro.
Check it out, Don. You said Donovan Mitchell's not a superstar. But if you go back to 2017 draft, he was drafted 13th. He's first in all categories, points per game, three-point percentage, and all of that. So I think the Knicks should definitely get him.
Well, I'm not knocking him, but he's not a superstar? Like, when I hear superstar, I think Curry, I think Durant, I think Kyrie. He's not in that level. He's a star. He's not a superstar.
But he's got better stats than Jason Tatum.
He's not. I mean, listen, he's not. He doesn't have more talent than Jason Tatum. I'm sorry.
But his stats are better.
Jason, his stats are better. His stats are very consistent. I mean, and I don't know if his stats are better, but they're very consistent. And here's what you love to see about Donovan Mitchell's numbers. Started at 20 points a game, Don. He's now up to 26 points a game. He's a really, really good player. Jason Tatum is a guy who's capable of dropping 45 3 nights in a row. I don't know that that's Donovan Mitchell's character. But he's definitely a really good player.
I'm not knocking him, Peter. But, when you start giving up a guy that could maybe become Donovan Mitchell, that's when I think you're not really helping your team as much. I want to see him come here and play with Randall and to play with Barrett. Because where would they be? If you have to give up Barrett to get Mitchell, you're a better team, but are you that much better?
Right. That's the thing. I don't think
and
so.
And now you're missing all these picks and all these young players. So if you can do it with the young players, who I don't think any of the players that were mentioned in the Tim McMahon article are guys that you're going to cry in your pillow at night you lose. I mean, Fournier you're not going to miss.
No, I'd be.
Toppin. I mean, listen, you got to give to get. I'm sorry, but I don't think any of those are nice pieces. And to the point that the caller, our first caller of the day, Steve Mills' brother, I forget his first name, I apologize, Doug, is that everybody thinks that you acquire picks to make picks. Sometimes you acquire picks to make trades. It's called assets. Sometimes they're players, young players, draft picks. They're all things that you can use to get established players. So don't always look at, we got all these draft picks, let's make them. Yeah, sometimes you do, but sometimes you use them to go get a 25-year-old established star. Even if he isn't quite a superstar. Come on, we're going to play that semantics game, Peter? What's a star? What's a superstar?
Yeah, it's probably not worth your while. Let's do one more, and we have Aaron Boone just around the corner. Gabe in Fort Lee. What's up, Gabe?
Hey, Peter. What's up, brother?
How you doing,
First-time caller.
Nice. Welcome aboard.
How are you? Anyways, Don, big fan of the show. You make my nights. You make my mornings. I ain't calling about Gallo. We've seen enough of that. But anyways, here to talk about Donovan Mitchell. We need to do what we need to do to get this guy. I would do 4 first. Keep Barrett off the table, though. We have to keep Barrett. I would throw Toppin and Grimes on. But we have to get Donovan. In the Garden, it would be electric. Spike, Stephen A., we got to do it. We have to, Peter. We got to bring the Garden back, baby.
Gabe, thank you, man.
We got to do it.
I like
won't
the
take
picture
much.
you're
I mean, if they were able to pull this off, Peter, that would be quite the coup as far as the Knicks fans would be concerned for opening night, being able to introduce him.
Oh, Don, think about if they get Mitchell, and if they don't give up R.J. Barrett, and next season they go in with Mitchell and Brunson, I'm sorry, we can't argue that they didn't have a big offseason. We'd have to truly own the fact that they delivered.
They did.
So, I mean, we're still a ways away from that.
Not quite the offseason from last year, I'll tell you that.
By the way, guys, coming up, going to have something to give you. Keith Urban is coming to PNC Bank Arts Center on July 29th. That is 2 weeks from tomorrow. Stay tuned for your chance to win a pair of tickets coming up later in today's show. It's all from Live Nation. Tickets on sale at livenation.com. Up next, the Yankee manager, Aaron Boone. We'll dig in on the Severino situation and a lot more. Plus, Don has a Daily Don coming up in a bit. ENN at 6. Peter and Don on the K Show on Yes 98.7 ESPN.
Why have over 2 million sleepers chosen Casper? Because we think about sleep more than pretty much anyone. With mattresses engineered for less aches and pains, with support where you need it, and continuous cooling all night long with Snow technology. Casper sleepers report better sleep, mood, and productivity. Wake up refreshed and ready for your best tomorrow. Visit Casper.com or a store near you.
Let me guess. Surprised by subscriptions? Beat up by bills? Floored by finances?
Yeah.
Save yourself the pain and let Truebill do the work. Truebill finds clever ways to save you money, like canceling subscriptions you never use.
Who signed up for those?
Truebill also negotiates lower rates on bills.
Ooh, thanks.
So you don't ever have to hear this again. Give your finances the fix and download Truebill today.
She got tricks in the stash, stacking up the cash fast when it comes to the gas. By no means average, it's on when she's got to have it. Baby, you're a perfect 10. I wanna get in, can I get down so I can? I like the way you work it, no diggity. I got to bag it up, I like the way you work it, no diggity. I got to bag it up.
Add drama to every drive. The exhilarating Audi SUV family. Get exceptional offers at your local Audi dealer.
You could pick from hundreds of law firms for your mesothelioma or asbestos lung cancer case, but would you be confident that you made the best choice? Whites & Luxembourg is the firm that has represented more asbestos disease clients than any other firm in the metropolitan area. With 30 years experience, they have New York's highest recorded asbestos verdicts of all time. The choice is clear, and the stakes could not be higher.
Whites & Luxembourg has our backs.
Call Whites & Luxembourg today.
Call 1-888-411-LAWS. That's 1-888-411-LAWS.
Peter and Don on a Thursday, 4:01 p.m. We're going to hear from Aaron Boone in just a minute. Don has a football-related Daily Don coming up. Don, I know you're excited. I got to get you some updates on the Open Championship here.
I don't. When you say you got to, is it sponsored?
That's right.
All right, well then.
So I'll give you one right now. Yay! This 98.7 ESPN Leaderboard Update brought to you by Superbook Sports. Superbook Sports is live in New Jersey. Visit superbook.com for all the latest odds and promotions. Have a problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Let's see. Don, the question remains for you. Will you know who is on top? Your leader at 8 under for day one is Cameron Young.
I've not heard of him.
All right, so when you have heard of Don, how about the guy in second place at 6 under for day one, a guy named Rory McIlroy?
Very familiar with his work.
DJ 4 under, Scotty Scheffler, the number one player in the world right now, 4 under as well. Ian Poulter, 3 under. Bryson DeChambeau, the whole Live crew hanging out. There, DeChambeau's at 3 under. Last I saw, El Tigre was not playing great. Either. He finished the day 6
he still got 2
over.
holes.
Oh, he still got 2 holes, and he's 6 over, done.
So it could get better. Could get worse.
Not good.
No, it's not good. I mean, Don, let me put it this way. The leader's at 8 under. Tiger's currently at 6 over. That's 14 off the pace to you and me. With that, though, we get to the Aaron Boone Report. It's time for today's Aaron Boone Report on 98.7, brought to you by Stoli Vodka, Cooper Tire, and Jack Pocket. Aaron, it's Don and Peter. How are you?
I'm doing well. Looks like Rest Roulette landed on Michael K again, huh?
Ayo!
Oh, summertime.
I love how Boone's been bringing it. Now, last week, Aaron, when Don and I were off, you dropped gave a little mini bombshell on the Judge update to Gordon and Dan Grassa. So we now expect you to give us a major update on Severino right here and right now.
Yeah, sorry, I don't have it yet. He had his MRI. We know he's a likely IL, but he'll see the doctor here later, a little bit later on, and hoping it's not something too serious.
So, what is your concern level at this point?
I wouldn't say overly concerned based on just, until I have the doc and sitting there with the MRI and talking to Sevy, I want to see how that plays off. But I don't think it's anything too severe. But we'll see. We'll have a better idea tonight.
What would you say to the Yankee fan who 6 weeks ago was feeling one way about this team rotation-wise with the play of Nestor Cortez and Sevy, and now with Sevy being potentially in question and Nestor not playing at the same level he was 6 weeks ago? What do you say to that Yankee fan who's concerned about this rotation a bit moving forward?
Well, look, it's such a long season, and it's not always going to be perfect. Even in the midst of when you're having a great season, there's always going to be things that pop up. We feel like we're sitting here with tremendous talent and ability of guys within our rotation. I expect Sevy to be a huge part of that still moving forward the rest of this year. And there's going to be ebb and flows and bumps in the road along the way, but the reality is we have a lot of talented pitchers capable of a lot.
And the bullpen, I guess the same thing. It was such a huge strength and a little bit of a hiccup, I guess, over the last week. Is there any concerns there? I guess specifically with Holmes' bad outing. He bounced back last night, but still not, the classic Holmes we're used to. So how do you feel about this bullpen right now?
Yeah. Well, we're getting Loaizaga back tonight, which we're really excited about. Herman's in the mix here. Could end up popping into the rotation. Could be a bullpen option. We've obviously seen what J.P. Sears is capable of, and Clark Schmidt, and they've both helped us not only in starting capacities at time, but especially in Clark's situation. He's done a good job for us out of the pen, so we still feel really good about our pen. And obviously getting Lowe back is huge. I think Chappie, we feel like we're making a little bit of progress there. That's kind of one of the X factors is can we get him all the way back? I've been encouraged by what we've seen the last few times. In the case of Clay Holmes, look, I think you're going to have an outing. I don't care if you're in the best of seasons where you're struggling, whatever it may be, you're going to have a bump in the road along the way. It's part of the gig, and you got to be able to make adjustments. And feel like Clay going through that last night or 2 nights ago where he really struggled, obviously, with his command and his release point and wasn't able to make that adjustment on the fly, gets back out there to last night, struggles with the first hitter and even into the second hitter where he's struggling with his command again, and he's able to kind of rally. And that's even though it's July, that's real adversity when you've dominated as much as he has this year, and then all of a sudden you go through a little struggles with command, and you're out there, staring at that a little bit. To be able to adjust on that, make some big pitches, get through that, I think is valuable experience for him and for us. And, long-term, big picture, not real concerned about it and glad he was able to get out there and kind of work through some things, but fully expect him to be, the guy we've seen really his entire time with us with the Yankees.
Now, listen, I recognize, Aaron, that in having these conversations every week, we're sort of like intrinsically nitpicky because you guys are 62 and 26, and we could frankly just get up here every week and talk about how great things are, but we try to find interesting through lines. And coming out of that split with the Red Sox, was there anything about the Red Sox as a team that you took away either concerned about or thinking, hey, we may be up 15.5 games on this team, but they could be a formidable opponent should we see them in the postseason.
Oh, no question. But I didn't need the split to have that happen. I look at every team right now that, and we still have a long way to go, but hopefully if we get to get to the end and we're in the postseason, we know any team we're going to go up against is capable of certainly knocking us off, beating us, giving us all we can handle. I would throw the Red Sox right in the middle of that, and they're going to continue to get more and more healthy. I would say the same thing for the Blue Jays, who have really kind of struggled with consistency this year, but we know how dangerous they are. If the Rays have been kind of decimated with some injuries, but we know if they get healthy, they're always scary. We're seeing what the Mariners are doing. Cleveland, you can never sleep on them. Baltimore, what they're doing now in our division and the way they're throwing the ball. And we actually saw that early in the year where we saw this is a team that can pitch at a much different level now. So there's always, even when we're rolling as good as you can roll, there's always, there's teams that are capable of beating us, and we know we have to play well when it matters, and that's ultimately what it will come down to, whether we run away with the division or whether it's a grind to the end. Anything can happen come October, but we're a long ways off from that, and we're trying to kind of be the best version of a team that we can possibly be, and we'll see how that all unfolds, but we look forward to that challenge, and you're going to face adversity at different points of the year, even in a year where you could potentially do something really special.
And I know you had mentioned the other day, Aaron, that you're not looking at the Astros, you're not concerned about home field, that it's too early. But in a season when you have a 14-game lead in the division, as you get into the dog days of the summer, can it be a chip to throw out there to your team so there isn't the complacency of just getting the regular season over with?
Oh, no question. When I said too early to think about, that's down the road. I mean, we're trying to win, and hopefully that puts you in a position to when you get to September and you get down the stretch that you're in a position to go for something like that, whether it's winning the division first and foremost. And then if you're in a position to where you have a chance to have the best record and have home field, that's certainly something you aspire to and want to attain if it's in front of us at that point. So absolutely. As far as a chip or a carrot for this team, that's one thing I feel really good about this team is what they're playing for, and how palpable that is on a daily basis within the walls of that room, and the single-mindedness that this club has, and the togetherness that this club has. We want to be great. We want to do something special. And, I don't think anything's going to get in our way of that from a motivation standpoint.
We talked earlier today about Giancarlo Stanton. And Aaron, at the beginning, it just seemed like he was a punching bag for fans. I mean, literally, he got booed in his first game at Yankee Stadium. And as time's gone on, he's just gotten more and more solid. He was your biggest offensive spark in the playoffs last year. 5-game tying plate appearances this season. What can you say about Giancarlo Stanton, and is he the player you expected when you started managing this team?
Yes, and I think one of the really great things, and I think we've talked about this before about him, is just who he is and the kind of teammate, the kind of person, how reliable he is, how consistent he is, how diligent and disciplined to his routine he is, how, he's evolved and navigated coming over as a superstar player, making a lot of money. And like you said, it seemed like early on, bore the wrath of fans if he, didn't get a hit in a certain situation. He handled it with such professionalism. And, sometimes what I say with Giancarlo, and I hate to say this sometimes about a person, but it really is a compliment. he's a superstar player in person, but he's super low maintenance. Like he's so just dependable in who he is as a person. And, I've developed a really good relationship to where I feel like he and I really communicate well with one another. But he's become someone that people on this team really look up to and admire and appreciate how he goes about his business, how he goes about his work. And we're really lucky to have a guy that is a pro. He's an absolute pro.
Without mentioning any names, what would be an example of high maintenance?
Of high maintenance?
Yeah.
I don't know. You can have guys that are, on every level of play, whether it's, the 25th man on the roster to a starting player to a superstar player that just, there's a lot that goes into sometimes managing or whatever. We've had very few of those people, fortunately, when I've been here. But Giancarlo he's just easy to talk to, easy to work through things. He's not a guy that I ever really worry about from just who he's going to be as a person day in and day out, no matter what's going on in the season.
Not to pick on him, Pete.
The grind of the season and the adversity that everyone's going to face reveals character. It really reveals your character so often throughout the course of the year. And I guess the thing I'm saying about Giancarlo is now in my 5th year with him is his character is just superb.
Yeah, and I'm not going after Michael's character, but Peter, you would agree on the show Michael's the most high maintenance.
Okay.
Absolutely. Aaron knows this. This goes without saying. The man literally doesn't eat condiments. Everything he does is high maintenance.
Hate everything about barbecue sauce.
See? Now we had Rizzo on yesterday, Aaron, and really a treat to talk to him. Obviously, he's doing fantastic stuff with his foundation, but he also, between the fact that he knows how to win and has done this before and just sort of the energy that he exudes, what kind of locker room role does Rizzo have on this team?
He has so much command of the locker room, one of the biggest voices in that room, but I think a guy that does a great job of relating to everyone. He plays the game within the game so well, and he has that ability to strike that balance, which I think is so important as a major league player, as a major league star player, and especially playing here in New York of, pouring your energy into the day, being prepared, being focused, being a gamer, being tough, but also a way about him that's easygoing and realizes that we're here. We need to have fun playing this game, and I think he puts others around him at ease. Everyone from the other star players on the team to the guy that gets called up. He just has a way about him of helping them feel comfortable. I think you saw it last night a little bit. When Clay struggled a little bit finding his command again with those first 2 hitters, he kind of just strolls out to the mound on his own and has a conversation in his own way, and he just has a settling factor with so many people. Another guy he's obviously been really good between the lines for us, but he's been tremendous in the room.
All right, so you just got off a series with the Red Sox. Now you play them again to close out the first half of the season. Is it still the same, the rivalry that you played in back in the early 2000s? Is it still ratcheted up to that point, or has it cooled off at all for you?
I think it's pretty awesome right now. I think anytime you go to Fenway, it's a special environment. Obviously, playing them here is special. We've only got to play them once here so far and once there, and it was opening weekend here. But yeah, I mean you know, they've beaten us a couple times in the playoffs since I've been here. You know, they've won a world championship since I've been here. We certainly have a ton of respect for them. And, you know, the rivalry, it might not be as, like, hated and ratcheted up as it was, like, in 03 when I was here. You know, it was pretty intense. But I feel like that intensity is there. Maybe not the hatred that exists between the two teams, even though there's really no one we like beating anymore.
You're right, because the reason I ask is I'm reading. I just finished The Franchise from Mark Feinsand, and it's a really great book, and talked about the rivalry with the Red Sox, and like Francona and Torre would like talk after and say, God, I'm just glad that's over. I just want to get back to the regular season because the games were so amped up. It didn't feel like any other game. Do you ever feel like you allow yourself to enjoy it, or does it become kind of a grind because it's the playoffs in July? It's the playoffs in the regular season when you play them.
Both. There's nothing better than competing in those games. I mean, there's nothing better than being in those environments where you just feel like you're playing for a lot, right? And that highest level of competition, you know, is one of the reasons you do this. You know, that said, you get done, and I had a conversation with Cora at the end of it, like, all right, see you next week. You know, like, we go at it again. So there is that. I can definitely relate to that. I love competing against them, and you love going through it, and it's, you know, heart-wrenching and gut-wrenching and all that, you know, throughout the course of the game. But it's also, you do a little exhale when you get finished with it and know you're doing it again starting tomorrow.
And Don mentioned the rivalry with the Red Sox. 03 CS, the fight. I was in the bleachers. You were in the game. What were you doing during all of it? And also, do you remember what Zimmer was like afterwards in discussing it? What was sort of the aftermath for you guys in the locker room?
Yeah. So you're just kind of out there and trying to survive and trying to keep people from getting stepped on and, you know, hurt. And then you look over and you see Zim on the ground, so your attention goes there. The aftermath, I remember him being, you know, pretty upset and you know, I think almost a little bit ashamed, you know, like he wishes he wouldn't have, you know, caused that kind of confrontation. And so that was my sense of him. He was emotional about it and down, and I think felt sorry about it.
Do you have any feeling either way on Stanton going to the home run derby if he decides to?
No. If he wants to do it, I'm all in on that. You know, and if he decides not to, you know, he'll make a good choice. You know, he knows himself, and if he wants to do it, I'll look forward to tuning in and watching it Monday because he'll make it better.
We mentioned Rizzo's work with the foundation, but the Yankees are in the midst of Hope Week, where you guys do a lot of great stuff for community service. What can you say sort of about the things you guys are involved in and how this organization deals with community service generally?
It's awesome. It's, you know, I talk all the time. We obviously want to do. We want to be champions, right? And that's what we're working towards. And you want to have a special season. But every year, Hope Week, and this is the 13th year I think we're doing it. This is obviously then my 5th being involved in it. It's just every year, you know, it comes up and, you know, it's in the grind of the season, and we get home in the middle of the night off the Sunday night game, and you're like, oh man, I got to go to the park on the off day and it's like, it turns into be this kind of magical, awesome day because yes, we get to touch lives and shine a light on stories that we feel like need to be heard and need to be seen and need to be, you know, attention drawn to. But ultimately, you know, and not just speaking for myself, but for the players, year in and year out, like it turns out to be so rewarding for us. Like our lives get touched by it. And there's so many great things we got to do. I got to be with the, amputees and Landis and just how special a kid he is and what he's able to do and how he's paying it forward too, and how he's become kind of an inspiration, and to see him interact with other kids, going through having similar challenges. It's just a very rewarding week, and probably the most impactful thing we'll do all year. And obviously, being a Yankee and wanting to win a championship, that's what we're here to do. But to be able to, have a part in giving back this week, I know is really special for me and our guys.
Yeah, awesome stuff. And Aaron, one final baseball thing. We got to ask you about Joey Gallo. I mean, we'll be blunt with you. The fans calling on this program are on his head right now.
I heard Don had a pretty good rant the other day.
he did. Exactly. I'm on the air. Exactly. I'm glad it made its way to the Bronx. It was something. It was a beauty. But where do you stand with Joey right now? What are you saying to him? Sounded like yesterday Rizzo and the team have the expectations that at some point he'll start connecting a bit. But what are you telling him, and how are you feeling about Gallo at this point?
Yeah, that's what we're hoping. I mean, I think one of the things you try and you have an all-star caliber player and talent that obviously has had his struggles since he got to us, right? And it's been a struggle, and no one would deny that. But one of the things you try and remind is you try and encourage little adjustments here, and kind of trying to lighten the burden that I think he carries. Obviously, I think he feels that because he wants to do well, for his teammates. Is you remind him, you're in the physical prime of your career. You've been an all-star player more than once in this league. Like, it's in there. You got to just keep try and find a ways to get it out, and I say hopefully through small successes you start to build a little bit of confidence, and then you all of a sudden take off and we see the talent. I actually do feel like over the last week he's had some quality at bats, like in some big spots where he's worked the walk and got on, hit a big homer for us in Pittsburgh. So it's close in that regard. But I think allowing yourself to free up your mind a little bit to let your body go out there and do what you're capable of, and that's a hard thing when you've had the struggles that he's had and you carry that burden with you. How do you lighten that load and just let your talent go out? And I think the thing that always gets lost in this, and I feel like people give it lip service every now and then. I know he, plays good defense, and he's elite. He's elite in the corners, and that's a real thing, and that's an important thing that we kind of patted on its head, and then we go to his if he gets it rolling, this is a guy that gets on base a ton. He's athletic. He's a difference maker in the corner, and then he's got real power. So, as long as we have the opportunity, we're going to continue to, try and pull it out of him and continue to work alongside him to try and help him get there.
I know you got to go. Just 30 seconds on Tyler Wade.
Yeah, Tyler back. Obviously going to Scranton, not on the roster right now because he did clear waivers with the Angels, and we were able to trade for him. A guy that we feel like adds to our depth. We've seen him play an important role for us the last few years as a bench player with his defensive versatility, obviously his speed and his base running ability. Just a guy that gives us some depth, and obviously we're very familiar with, and wouldn't be surprised at some point if you see him up here and playing a role for us.
Well, Aaron, we appreciate your time. Hope you enjoy the All-Star break. I mean, listen, if they did it like the NBA, you'd be coaching the All-Star game, but instead you can just chill out. And we'll talk to you soon, man.
All right, thanks, guys. Take care.
Thanks.
There he is, the Yankee manager, Aaron Boone, brought to you by Stoli Vodka, classically crafted and exceptionally smooth vodka. Enjoy Stoli Vodka on the rocks in your favorite summer cocktail or just by simply adding soda. Stoli Vodka, please enjoy responsibly. Cooper Tire, for high-performing quality tires at affordable prices. Come to Mavis for Cooper brand tires, and Mavis always provides best-in-class customer service. Visit Mavis at mavistire.com. And Jackpocket, play official state lotto games on your phone. Download the app and get your first Mega Million or Powerball ticket free using the code ESPN. You got to be 18 or older to play. If you're someone you know has a gambling problem, wants help, call 877-8-HOPE-NY. Visit jackpocket.com/TOS for terms of service. Don, Daily Don.
That's right.
That's right, man. We'll get to
football.
The little football action next, right here, Peter and Don on the K Show on Yes 98.7 ESPN.
The Michael K Show is brought to you in part by Burke Rehabilitation. Get back in action with Burke.
The great experiences you have in here and even out here all started here. Because the best customer experience always leaves a great impression. GMC, awarded #1 in sales satisfaction by J.D. Power. Step up to GMC with 0% financing on these GMC models. We are professional grade GMC.
Grubhub delivers convenience items.
Grubhub delivers convenience items? Grubhub delivers convenience items.
With Drizzly, I can shop a huge selection of beer, wine, and liquor. I just open the app, and it's at my door in under 60 minutes. Drizzly also lets me shop from multiple stores in my area and compare prices on thousands of products.
Ding dong, Drizzly.
This team knows how to dominate the field. And this team, well, it dominates just about any field. The Ford Bronco Sport, available with up to 7 GOAT modes to go over any type of terrain, so you can go as far as your ambition takes you. The Ford Bronco Sport, official SUV of the New York Yankees. For current offers, visit buyfordnow.com.
Nestor, the diving Cortez, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Strike 3, 6 strikeouts in a row. Cortez absolutely dominating.
He is so much fun to watch.
Ukraine remains under attack. Millions of people have fled, creating the fastest growing refugee crisis in modern history. Children and families are seeking safety. AmeriCares is responding with critical medicine and supplies, and we're working alongside local partners to get aid where it's most needed. For more than 40 years, AmeriCares has met health needs after natural disasters and in humanitarian crises. We know health is essential for everyone's future. Now AmeriCares is protecting the health of children and adults caught in this terrible crisis. In Ukraine and in the surrounding countries, there is a critical need for medicines, medical supplies, and ongoing health care. So let's work together. Together, we can improve health. Together, we can save lives. Learn how at americares.org/help-Ukraine.
And it's Liberty Bell closest to the rail. Around the back turn. And here's our horse and jump. Maverick going up the outside. And they're being thrown on the track. They come down the line again.
Add drama to every drive. The exhilarating Audi SUV family. Get exceptional offers at your local Audi dealer.
Boone, I just want to congratulate you on getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. Ever since a rookie, I came into this league. You've been showing me the ropes, showing me what it is and how to, play this New York type basketball, especially for this organization. And I thank you for just putting your arms around me and, taking me with you along this ride. Thank you.
Congratulations, Boone.
Thank you for everything. Thank you for the workouts, the motivation, the energy you bring every day to practice. We appreciate you for everything, and you deserve this.
And these are the shirts Jules and I are holding up. Jules has the front. This is the back. I'm holding the back. Every fan
Hold
tonight.
that teaspoon here.
Yeah, every fan tonight got one of these commemorative Teresa Weatherspoon T-shirts. A very nice job by the Liberty organization, recognizing greatness, getting inducted into the Naismith Memorial Hall of Fame. Chris Sheeran back here in our ES Network studios. The Yankees' multiple comeback win over the Reds is brought to you by Montefiore Einstein, state-of-the-art healthcare in New York City, Westchester, and the Hudson Valley. After going down 4-0 in the first inning and a half, Yankees Twitter was abuzz with the game being over. Obviously, they haven't really watched this offense all season, and they probably didn't endure the 80s as Yankees fans. Highlights right now. Bottom three, 2 in for the Yanks. IKF drives in a run for every initial of his name. He drives in Rizzo, Torres, and Donaldson with a bases-clearing double. And what do you know? The Yankees take a 5-4 lead. Who would have thunk it? The Red seesawed back in front with 2 in the 5th, and then in the 8th, Giancarlo Stanton visits the shores of Creature Cove. Over the short porch, ties it up at 6. The game would head to extras, 2nd and 3rd. Stanton up again. This time he doesn't even have to swing. Wild pitch brings in DJ LeMahieu. Yankees come back 2 times and win 7-6, ending their 3-game skid. Here's Aaron Boone talking about his team's continued resiliency.
Good job, getting behind the 8 ball there a little bit, obviously early, down 4-0, a big inning to get us back in it, and they fought right back. Big homer, but not perfect. It never, it's the season's not going to be that way. So, just glad we were able to continue to kind of grind. Bullpen came in and did a really nice job for us to give us a chance, and we're able to outlast them tonight.
Nestor Cortez will make his last start before representing the Yankees in the Midsummer Classic in Los Angeles, and his opponent is a tough one in Luis Castillo. Both pitchers have sub-3 ERAs, and check this out. Castillo's last 3 outings covered 20 innings, and he allowed just 2 earned runs. Our coverage tonight begins with Yankees batting practice today at 6, followed by the pregame at 6:30, and first pitch is scheduled to come out of the left hand of Cortez a little after 7. It's the Yankees and Reds in the rubber match of their 3-game set. Coverage beginning at 6 with BPTV right here on Yes, and streaming, of course, on the Yes app.
It's me! I'm back! And guess what? It's another Don segment!
We're doing the list, Michael. I don't care if you don't like it.
The Daily Don!
I'll fight to the death for this list.
It's the Daily Don Show. He makes lists. Take it away, Donnie!
All right. Came up with this idea, Andrew and I, because one of the guys on the list, Peter, of the best defensive players in the Super Bowl era in New York football history.
Oh.
His birthday is today. So I don't want to give away who it is.
All right.
You may know, but I don't want to give away a member of the list. So, but it was the inspiration for. And the reason I went Super Bowl era, Peter, is that I don't want to have you and our listeners,
please.
Andy Robustelli and Ellen Tennell and all that. Sam Huff.
Sam Huff is the only one I'd get. So
right.
All right, let's get started and knock some out here easy. You said New York Football or New York Football Giants?
Giants and Jets.
Okay,
so we
Giants
don't get
and
any
Jets.
Bills calls for Bruce Smith. Okay.
Okay. Let's start out with a guy. I believe you're familiar with him from a famous appearance on this show. His name is Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah, let's not even mess around. He's number 1 with a bullet, clearly. Greatest defensive player in my mind in the history of the sport. Hall of Famer, Defensive Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year. Basically everything you could ever imagine. Lawrence Taylor certainly would be number 1 on the list for sure. Good job, Peter. Good pull.
How about Darrelle Revis?
Darrelle Revis, and happy birthday. Darrelle Revis turned 37 today.
Still a young man. He can still be playing.
But see, usually when you hear birthdays, you're like, oh, my God, I can't believe he's 37. I believe it.
No, in his case, you can't believe he's only 37.
Right, you almost figure,
he's already been gone
did he turn
forever.
45? Because that's how football is, right? I mean, if he was a baseball player, a hockey player, even a basketball player, he would probably still be playing, but knees got bad for him, and it's tough to play deep into your 30s as a football player unless you're a quarterback. That reminds me, I had a big-time NBA player follow me. I'll tell you at the end of the
Oh, I
list.
can't wait to hear it. You didn't tell us what rank Revis is.
Revis is number 3. Now, you might say that's a little low, but 5 of his 7 Pro Bowls came as a Jet. He had a Pro Bowl as a Buccaneer and a Pro Bowl as a Patriot, won his Super Bowl as a Patriot. So I have Darrelle Revis at number 3. And, of course, that 2009 season, Peter, all of the receivers he held to 35 yards or under. Pretty impressive. Colston, Johnson, Moss, Holt, Smith, Wayne. Randy Moss, he had twice.
He was insane.
09 was amazing.
How about Carl Banks?
Carl Banks, unfortunately, a good friend, but not in the top 5. Who are you taking out?
I don't know. Is there a very obvious one I'm looking past right now?
I would say 2 of the 3 are obvious.
2 of the 3 are obvious.
I mean,
Staring us right in the
you're
face.
familiar with well, one of them, you're very familiar with his work. On and off the field.
I'm very familiar with his work on and off the field.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. How about Michael Strahan?
Yeah, Michael Strahan. I put it 2. Now, you could say, well, wait a minute. Isn't Revis better than Strahan? Revis was the best corner. Was Strahan ever the best defensive end? All I know is he's in the Hall of Fame, 7 Pro Bowls, Super Bowl championship. I put Michael Strahan 2, Revis 3. You can argue amongst yourselves if you like, but that's how I have my list. So we've got Taylor at 1, Strahan at 2, Revis at 3. So we need 4 and 5.
All right, here's one I have very little experience with personally, but I understand his impact in this town. And that would be Joe Klecko.
Oh, Joe Klecko is number 4, Peter. Joe Klecko, 4-time Pro Bowler, but here's the catch. At 3 different positions on the defensive line. He should be in the Hall of Fame. I think every Jet fan would agree with that. His 73 is retired by the Jets, played all of his career but 1 year in New York. He closed out his career in Indianapolis with the Colts, I believe, in 85. So Joe Klecko, I have at 4. And again, this is during the Super Bowl era, so...
Best defensive football players in New York in the Super Bowl era.
Right.
So the last one we have, Don, is not as obvious?
Well, I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. You're familiar with his work, although, let's see, his last year you were 9.
Okay. Last year I was 9.
So his last year was 88, if I did the math
88.
correctly.
Sure.
9-time Pro Bowler, Hall of Fame.
9-time Pro Bowler. All right, Giants or Jets?
Giants.
I'm trying to think of a 9-time Pro Bowler from that team. That means he was in the 86 Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
Pepper Johnson.
No.
Who am I forgetting?
Number 53, linebacker.
Oh, just make me upset and tell me.
Somebody by the name of Harry Carson.
Harry Carson. Oh, Harry Carson.
Is number 5. As I mentioned, Hall of Fame, 9-time Pro Bowler. So at number 1, Lawrence Taylor. Number 2, Michael Strahan. Number 3, Darrelle Revis. Number 4, Joe Klecko. Number 5, Harry Carson. That is your top 5.
You know, it's a pretty good, of all the lists we could do, Don, it's one that makes you feel pretty good about the state of affairs in football in New York, that list. Like, that's a lot of iconic players. Like, the fact that you can have Darrelle Revis not be your number 1 is already pretty great. Because most teams, if you had a Darrelle Revis, he's your number 1.
And they did go to back-to-back championship games with Revis. You know, the Jets have only won the 1 Super Bowl, but I would not lump them with the Browns or the Lions as far as, like, you know, it's been really rough.
Yeah,
It's been rough.
competitive. Yeah, no, they're competitive.
But they've had some great players since, you know, Super Bowl 3. I mean, I always take exceptions like, oh, Joe Namath. Yeah, but there's been a lot of great players on the Jets. A lot of seasons that didn't result in championships, but were fun seasons for sure. And there's other, you know, and you start talking about great offensive players too. So, yeah, it's there's been a lot of bad recently in New York football, so it's nice to think of the better times. Because it's been rough, Peter. It's been as rough a decade of football that we've seen in forever.
It's been awful. And as I've pointed out many times, it's not just that they're bad. Both teams are bad. I'm talking generally over the last 5 years. Both teams are bad and boring. Like, it's not only that they don't get good results, Don. They're not an entertaining watch either.
Especially the Giants recently.
Oh, the Giants were putrid to watch the last few years.
It's just something just a bad, just bad quarterbacking, bad offense. It's hard, right? Like, you can lose, but score a bunch of points and your defense stinks. You can kind of entertain people.
Then Saquon is one of the entertaining players. He's gone. He's been gone too often. It's been ugly. So I know it's funny because I don't root for the Giants or the Jets, but yet I desperately want one of them to be good.
Because you talk about them.
I don't want to talk. No one wants to talk about teams being bad year after year after year.
But football is just so powerful, you can't ignore them.
Exactly. And I don't want. If I want to talk about a team that lost constantly, I could have tried to do radio in Cleveland. I thought we'd be talking about wins at some point. All right. ENN coming up at 6 o'clock. Your calls next, 1-800-919-3776. Peter and Don on the K Show on Yes and 98.7 ESPN.
The Michael K Show is brought to you in part by Audi. Experience a fully electric Audi vehicle at your local tri-state Audi dealer today.
And it's Liberty Bell closest to the rail. Around the back turn. And here's the horse and jump. Maverick with the home outside. And they're in from the track. They come down the line again. They're back in action. Across the goal.
Add drama to every drive. The exhilarating Audi SUV family. Get exceptional offers at your local Audi dealer.
You could pick from hundreds of law firms for your mesothelioma or asbestos lung cancer case. But would you be confident that you made the best choice? White & Luxembourg is the firm that has represented more asbestos disease clients than any other firm in the metropolitan area. With 30 years experience, they have New York's highest recorded asbestos verdicts of all time. The choice is clear, and the stakes could not be higher.
Whites & Luxembourg has our backs.
Call Whites & Luxembourg today.
Call 1-888-411-LAWS. That's 1-888-411-LAWS.
Baseball is in full swing, and DraftKings customers can bet just $5 and get $150 automatically. Win or lose. Can't argue with that, right, guys?
It's a great offer. Are you blind? It's clearly a very great offer. Yeah, it is. I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you, Lord. Hello.
So, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use the promo code, and play ball with an official sports betting partner of MLB.
Tonight, the Yanks are seeing reds as they wrap up their series with Cincinnati.
Monster home run.
And during the telecast, Yes highlights a special charity auction in support of the Anthony Rizzo Foundation. Yankees-Reds series coverage continues tonight at 6 on Yes, New York's most watched sports network.
What would you give for a child you loved to make their wish come true? To help them fight a critical illness? Just imagine what you'd do. You see, wishes are so powerful, and you can make them real. They can give a child back their childhood, even change the way they feel. Every single one of us can make the stars align, because when we come together, hope and joy will shine.
Sunshine on my shoulder makes me happy. If I had a day just like today.
Drizzly makes it easy to shop a huge selection of beer, wine, and liquor from wherever I am. I just open the app, find what I want, and it's at my door in under 60 minutes.
Drizzly. Ding dong, Drizzly.
Riders, let your queries be known.
How come we don't call ourselves bikers anymore? I mean, riders is cool, but bikers, really cool.
Seriously?
Deny. Can we go back to meeting at the rec center? The commute here is brutal. Deny.
How do we feel about getting a quote to see if we can save with America's #1 motorcycle insurer? Should Flo stop asking the same question every time?
Approved.
Denied. Whoa.
I have, over my 30 years, seen many patients who have excessive sweating. I recommend Carpe. It's a game changer.
Carpe is up to 3 times stronger than a regular strength antiperspirant. Try it today at mycarpe.com with limited time free shipping.
So, what's the secret? How have you guys made it work so long?
We have a deep, almost spiritual connection.
I'm his plumber.
It's like he knew my water heater needed a tune-up before I even asked. Like he's reading my mind.
That's not mind reading. That's just automated email reminders through Constant Contact that I send out to all my clients.
Wait, how many clients do you have?
Oh, I mean, I have a couple others.
When you have technology that's easier to control, that can scale across all your clouds,
We got that, right? Yeah, we got that.
it's easier to be an innovator. So you can do more incredible things.
Every Sunday, watch the Yes Hyundai Sunday Game of the Week. Brought to you by your local Hyundai dealers and the stylish all-wheel drive Hyundai Tucson. Test drive one today or visit us at buyhyundai.com.
Taking something out of the bag of tricks. Nasty Nestor. The diving Cortez. A little bit of this. A little bit of that. Strike 3. 6 strikeouts in a row. Cortez absolutely dominating.
He is so much fun to watch.
Don on the K Show on Yes at 98.7 ESPN. ENN coming up 6 o'clock. If you missed our interview with Aaron Boone, thought he brought it today, Don, one of our best. Go check out the podcast so you can enjoy all things Aaron Boone. Talk to him about Gallo, of course, about the Severino injury, and many more things. So that podcast, is it already up, guys, or it will be up in moments? About to be posted right now. So make sure you subscribe to the K Show podcast and of the ENN podcast, the great Caught Offside podcast, Game Misconduct. And, you know, it's all on the ESPN New York app, by the way. Just a tremendous app. Let's go to the phones, Don, shall we?
Please.
Let's go to Jamie in Rockland. What's up, Jamie?
Hey, Don. Hey, Peter.
What's up?
What's doing? Big fan of the show. First-time caller, long-time listener.
Thanks.
Listen, Don, I'm a Giants fan, but how is Mark Gastineau not on the list?
What are you taking out?
Season, Harry Carson. I'm a Giants fan. I don't remember Harry Carson. I remember Mark Gastineau.
You make me laugh, Jamie. That's funny. That's a good joke. Guy's in the Hall of Fame, Jamie. He's in the Hall of Fame. He went to 2 more Pro Bowls than Gastineau did. No, it's laughable. Really. You're better off saving face and just saying you were kidding.
I wasn't kidding, but okay.
Come on. Harry Carson, man. It's Harry.
I'm 18 years old. I don't know. I barely know Harry Carson. I've heard of Mark Gastineau.
Well, listen. Mark Gastineau went to 7 Pro Bowls. I thought you were going to argue that maybe he went to 5 Pro Bowls, not 7. So he went to actually way less than Harry did. But then you were going to argue Klecko because Klecko only went to 4. Gastineau was a sack machine. He was a great player for about like a 5-year period. Klecko had, I think, a more impactful career. He was a better all-around player, 3 Pro Bowls, 3 different positions. But, you know, I can't blame you, Jamie, for your age. But
Jamie,
Harry Carson is in the Hall of Fame.
But, Don, I know, Don and Jamie, I think I understand what's happening here, though, okay? Gastineau was the Jet of that era. Okay? He was like, during that window, Don, certainly on defense, but maybe overall, he was the man. Harry Carson, throughout the entire 80s post LT's draft, played in the shadow of the greatest defensive player of all time.
But he also no, wait a minute. See that's and Jamie, thank you for the phone call. That's the fallacy of people when Harry was struggling to get into the Hall of Fame. It was like, oh well, he was obscured by Lawrence Taylor. Harry's rookie year was 75. Lawrence's was 81. Harry had established himself as a star. He was on a bad team, but a star for 6 years before Lawrence Taylor got there. Right?
Absolutely, but in the case of someone like a kid, you understand why the name Harry Carson doesn't loom as large for Giants fans as Gastineau does for the Jets.
Well, I see
Giants
that,
have been so many better
I'm
players.
sorry. I'd love to hear from Jet fans. Ira's probably going to call. He probably just can't get through because I think his buzzer went off. He heard we were talking Jets.
Gastineau
was a bigger star. You know, as far as like name recognition, Hollywood looks, he was, I don't know if he's married or dated.
I think he was married to Brigitte Nielsen.
So he had the star, he was impactful, and he had the sack and the sack dance. So he was a recognizable name, but he was part of a sack exchange. Marty Lyons was a great player. Joe Klecko was a great player. Abdul Salam, not a great player, but a very good player. You know, but Mark was the one dating supermodels and, you know, diving on HBO off of his roof into the pool and sack dances and all that he did that made him kind of more recognizable. But I think Klecko was a better player. And for the Jets in that era. And Harry Carson, I'm sorry, he's just got the hardware. It's not his fault that he is on the same team as Lawrence Taylor, but I'm poking fun at Jamie, but come on, it's Harry Carson. My God, it's Harry.
So I think that maybe her and Gastineau were engaged, not married. By the way, can you name any person with more random partners than Brigitte Nielsen going from Mark Gastineau to Flavor Flav?
To Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, and Sly.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Sly,
yeah, but that's
Gastineau.
How do you
Sly
really?
And Gastineau are close.
But yeah, right. Sylvester Stallone and Mark Gastineau, that's a type.
Right.
Flavor Flav. Now you've left the type, right? You know.
And now it's Flavor. And by the way, remember, it's Flavor Flav in like 2003. Okay. It wasn't Flavor Flav. If it was Flavor Flav in 1990, you might be a little crazy, but you go, okay, it was all stars of the 80s. No, it was later Flavor of Flav. It was Flavor of Love Flav.
Right.
Foofy Foof, as he's known.
At least you always know what time it is.
What did you like about him? He always knew what time it was. You mean like knew what time it was? You mean like he was hip, so like culturally aware?
No, he had a big clock.
Huge clock around his neck all the time. I literally always knew what time it was. All right, sorry. Let's go to Leela. Leela or Lila, I'm not sure. I apologize. In Brooklyn, who has the same feelings our last caller.
Now, hey, good afternoon, Peter and Don.
What's up?
I just want to let you guys know I expected from Peter to not know the greatness of Mark Gastineau, but come on, Don. Number 99, I had his poster when as a child. The New York Sack Exchange, the guy who held the sack record until Strahan beat him for it. For so many years, he held that sack record. How could he not be in the top 5?
Who are you taking off? Who are you taking off?
I'm gonna. This one is gonna hurt, but I'm gonna have to remove Joe.
No, Joe's a better player. But Gastineau was flashier in the sacks.
Icon.
I don't care. I'm not asking about iconic players. I'm talking about better players. Joe Klecko is a better player than Mark Gastineau.
The record holder for sacks.
All right, fine. That's great. That's one aspect of the game, and he was very good at that. Like I said, for 4 or 5 years, nobody sacked the quarterback better than he did. But Joe Klecko was a better player.
Aspect of the game, it's defense.
Right. Well, there's also stopping the run, which was a big deal back in the 80s when they actually did have running backs and ran the ball and was an important position. He went to the Pro Bowl 3 different positions on the defensive line. Ask anybody. Joe Klecko was the anchor of that. Gastineau was the beneficiary of all the work that Joe Klecko and Marty Lyons did. That's
You
what
have to at least give me a tie.
he was able to be freed up to go after the quarterback, and all the other guys did the grunt work that actually made that defense so special. I love you, but Joe Klecko was a better football player.
No, I'm still a Gastineau fan.
Well, listen, I'm not telling you not to be. He was cool. Listen, who's going to have a poster on the wall of Joe Klecko or Mark Gastineau? Gastineau was cool. He was Hollywood. Absolutely. I get it, man. The better football player? Get Buttle on the phone. He'll tell you all day. I never even asked Buttle about it. I know he was going to answer the phone.
Absolutely. Thanks
all
for
right.
that.
No, I appreciate the back and forth. That was nice.
Friend of the show and huge Jet fan, Mr. C, wrote me and texted me on the side and said he would take Gastineau over Revis.
Well, no, these people smoke dope.
I don't think C does.
I mean, he might. You just don't want to make it public. No, I'm sorry. Again, this is the people that they're getting to the whole flashiness of it. Gastineau was Hollywood, man. He was. Who would you rather hang out with? No, well, Klecko's good too, man. Klecko was in. I forget if it was in Smoking the Bandit or Cannonball Run. I forget which one, but still, it was Burt Reynolds' vehicle.
Klecko had a movie career as well?
No, it was a cameo. I wouldn't say he was an actor by any stretch. These Gastineau guys, no, they're high, man. They're high on dope.
So
I'm just being the old man. I don't know if they're high. I'm just saying.
No,
you're smoking bowls, man. You're smoking out of an apple.
I think for someone like Mr. C, who's a forever Jets fan, says, I think he has personal resentment for Revis holding the Jets up for money and going to New England.
I see that. I mean, that hurts
I think
Revis.
There's more of an affinity and a love for Gastineau than Revis.
You could make the case that Revis should be ahead of Strahan. I put Strahan because he spent his whole career with the Giants and went to the Hall of Fame. Revis is going there. But I think it does hurt Revis's legacy that he won a ring in New England and went to Tampa.
Oh, absolutely.
And one of those Pro Bowls that he got with the Jets was at the end of his career, the last year he played. So, yeah, it was.
Don, did you see the thing going around social media last week of Brian Windhorst having that moment?
Yeah, what is that?
Like the why would they do that moment?
Right.
And everyone sort of turned it into a thing of Windhorst going down this conspiracy lane.
Windhorst in space.
Incarcerated Bob just hit me up with a Windhorst why would they do that thought.
Okay.
About the Yankees.
Mm-hmm.
It's very compelling, and I'm going to reveal it when we come back. How about that? More Peter and Don, ENN coming up at 6. Hang tight. It's the K Show on Yes and 98.7 ESPN.
The Michael K. Show is brought to you in part by FanDuel. Make every moment more.
Hey, big man.
Oh, hey.
Dave told me you got some kind of great system for betting that really works.
It's true.
What is it? Is it like home dogs? No. It's bird mascots.
No, I just use FanDuel's responsible gaming tools like time and spending limits to manage my play.
That's the system.
Hasn't failed me yet.
Cool. You know what, man? I'm just going to keep this between you and me.
It's not a secret, Bob.
Every bettor has a system. Make FanDuel's responsible gaming tools a key part of yours. It's more fun that way.
A new Chevy is the smart way to hit the open road this summer. The smart way to road trip and seek new adventures. Go a little farther this summer in a new Chevy. Find new get up and go, find new roads. Enjoy the open road and make no monthly payments for the rest of summer on all 2022 Equinox models. Plus, get 0% financing when you finance with GM Financial. See your local Chevy dealer.
Technically, when enamel is gone, you cannot get it back, but there are ways you can repair it. I'm excited about Pronamel Repair because it penetrates deep into the tooth to help actively repair acid-weakened enamel. I recommend Pronamel Repair to my patients.
With Drizzly, I can shop a huge selection of beer, wine, and liquor. I just open the app, and it's at my door in under 60 minutes. Drizzly also lets me shop from multiple stores in my area and compare prices on thousands of products.
Ding dong, Drizzly.
10 years ago, we started Untuckit out of my apartment, and today we have more than 80 stores worldwide. It's been quite a journey. We didn't just create shirts designed to be worn untucked, we perfected them. With great fabrics and design at the perfect untucked length, so you can look sharp in this new business comfortable world. Just look for our signature sale. Untuckit, 10 years in the making, and we're nowhere close to stopping. Visit untuckit.com or your nearest store today.
This team knows how to dominate the field. And this team, well, it dominates just about any field. The Ford Bronco Sport, available with up to 7 GOAT modes to go over any type of terrain, so you can go as far as your ambition takes you. The Ford Bronco Sport, official SUV of the New York Yankees. For current offers, visit buyfordnow.com.
So, tell me about your bond.
Yeah, she's the first one to email me on my birthday every year.
I never miss it because it's automated through Constant Contact.
I've never been in a relationship with a gardener like this.
Actually, landscape architect.
I was sweating on my face, I was sweating on my chest, my arms, everywhere. Then a friend told me about Carpe. It actually changed my life. Carpe is the #1 dermatologist recommended sweat brand for all over the body. Trust me on this. You have to give Carpe a try.
Try it today with free shipping at mycarpe.com.
When you have technology that's easier to control, that can scale across all your clouds,
We got that, right? Yeah, we got that.
it's easier to be an innovator. So you can do more incredible things.
Introducing the Lectric XP Lite. This new model is just 46 pounds, and its 48-volt system achieves a top speed of 20 miles per hour, making it the best pound-for-pound e-bike in the industry. This e-bike is filled with innovative features and includes a throttle to help you go the distance. It's our most compact and affordable design to date. With 3 accessory bundle options and 4 exciting color options, this is Lectric's most customizable ride yet. Visit lectricebikes.com and come ride with us.
Hey fans, I'm Diana Munson. It's time for this year's New York Yankees Virtually United Captains Challenge, benefiting the Yankees Foundation while honoring my favorite captain, Thurman Munson. So lace up those shoes and start running. And remember, the first 1,000 signups will receive a Captain's Challenge race kit and a custom bobblehead of number 15 himself. Good luck and let's go Yankees.
Yes has your VIP access to all the action as the Bronx Bombers chase down a 28th championship.
Watch New York Yankees baseball all season long on Yes.
Get a close-up look at top prospects from the Yankees minor league teams. Watch Homegrown, The Path to Pinstripes, all season on Yes and the Yes app, presented by Wendy's.
To the Mets starting lineup, brought to you by Nissan. Nimmo leading off. The All-Star, Starling Marte, second. Lindor, third. Home run derby, Pete Alonso, batting cleanup. Jeff McNeil, fifth. Guillorme, six.
Edgardo Escobar,
7. Tom Smith, 8. Patrick Mazeika, 9. And you know who's on the hill, Don? You know.
Yeah, say it. I don't know. I can't remember.
I was actually Cookie. Yeah, there you go.
That's it, Cookie Carrasco, yeah. Hate that name. Hate it. So
Cookies.
Marte's back. That's good.
Yeah, that's very, very good.
Cookies.
Wait, and who just had a kid? McNeil?
Yes.
Congrats to Jeff McNeil.
And you got to close it out, right? Because I don't want to.
Yeah, let me close it out and I'll get to what I want to hear what you're about to say because I heard the exasperation. That's today's starting lineup brought to you by Nissan. You deserve a car that thrills you. And Nissan's got an exciting full line that'll put goosebumps on your goosebumps. Experience the thrill for yourself. Shop your local Nissan store at nissanusa.com today. Don?
I remember, this was before you started working for us, Peter, that I forget it was a big series. I forget who was against. That Daniel Murphy missed because of paternity leave, and people were up in arms. How can these games are so important? And that's pretty much went away. But there were a few people that took exception. It's the Braves. How do you take? It's a birth of a child. Stop it. It's games in July. I'll be the first to say that was a big series, but he's going to miss the birth of his child. Stop it. Now, if you say the timing should be better, all right, maybe, because you do have a whole off season if you wanted to play and have children. But sometimes these things are unplanned or they just happen. But it's nice to see that it's not a thing anymore, that people actually are human beings now.
For the
but that
most
people
part,
still do complain.
Yeah, I saw a couple things. For the most part, though, it was well received. But I mean, also like, so real quick, you work your tail off from the time you're like 7 years old to become one of the best athletes in the world. You make it. And then, by the way, in the case of Jeff McNeil, for example, you make it to the highest level, Don, and you thrive at it. You're a very good player. And then when something amazing happens in your life, you shouldn't use the privilege you've earned by being this amazing professional athlete to take a few days to spend with your family when you have a baby? I'm sorry, that's nutso. Now, if it was the World Series, we can have a conversation. But they're playing great baseball. It's an important series, no doubt. The man had a baby. I'm sorry, it takes precedence.
And, you know, I can understand maybe football, you should plan better. There's only 17 games. But even then, I mean, if you want to have a conversation, but are you really going to begrudge somebody to be there for the birth of a child? God forbid if something went wrong and you're sitting there and go, I wasn't there because I was at, you know, playing a sport.
And by the way, I don't know if you're aware, like, these guys already sacrifice a lot of time with their family for the job. A lot. But, like, do you have to miss, like, birth?
And now with all this, you know, the analytics of not playing 162 games, there's a fighting chance that you might not have been in one of the 3 games anyway for some just arbitrary reason of it was a scheduled day off anyway. So you know what? Scheduled series off. Instead of just sitting there in my uniform watching a game, could easily play, but the management doesn't want me to. I think a better reason is to be there for the birth of your child.
So, Don, how are you feeling about your Mets on July 14th, just a few days from the All-Star break? Let me guess. Pretty good.
Really good. Give me my little cookie. And now you got a Cub team that's 20 games under 500. Go take 3 out of 4 and get rolling here. Nice way to go into the All-Star break. Maybe, listen, who are they playing? They're playing a lousy team. They're Washington, I think. The Braves. So you're probably not going to gain very much ground, if anything, this weekend, but you're going to go into the All-Star break in first place. It's pretty cool.
And when do you see, just your personal hunch, us seeing DeGrom's first start?
Oh, they're actually maybe talking about the Yankee series, which is coming up. So it's got to be sooner than later here. Yeah, so I would think, when is that first, I don't know if you guys know off the top of your head, that first Yankee-Met game after the All-Star break?
Let's see.
It's
not the first weekend, right?
No, because the Yankees got that doubleheader against the Astros to make up, and then they play Baltimore while the Mets are home against San Diego. Let me find it.
Here's what you got for coming up for
July 20. July 26th.
All right.
So maybe I thought I read something that maybe they might target that series as when he could come back and pitch. So we'll see. And ironically enough, that's where he made his debut, at Citi Field against the Yankees. And a 1-0 loss, but he pitched brilliantly. And our guy Michael Kay, who they named the show after,
I've heard that,
said that this guy is going to be great right after his first start.
And then that second Yankees set is August 22nd, August 23rd.
Well, that'd be a problem if we have to wait till then.
Absolutely.
So what did incarcerated Bob have to say?
Don, you remembered?
Yes, of course. I'm
Andrew,
waiting here.
Real quick, just to help Don and maybe anyone else who missed the Windhorse thing, can you give a summary of what exactly happened and how it was received culturally?
It's one of my... It might be my favorite moment of sports television from the last year. He was so good. He was so weirdly captivating, almost like a Bond villain in the way he was going about describing a trade, kind of a random trade that the Jazz had made with the Brooklyn Nets. And, you know, it flew under the radar, but, you know, to Windhorst, it was a big deal. And the way he described it, it was just so mysterious. And it was brilliant, and it turned into a viral sensation. All kinds of different, music beds were put underneath it. Like I saw one with the theme song from Interstellar was put underneath it. It was phenomenal.
And then they paused with his hands.
Yeah, the whole thing is very dramatic.
But he wasn't being ironic, right? It was not tongue in cheek at the time, right?
It's a very strange trade. Very strange trade. Why would the Jazz do that? What's going on in Utah? Why would they do that? Why would they do that?
Open what space to try to land Kevin?
No.
And it went on for 2.5 minutes. Like that.
And so was it tongue in cheek at all?
I
Or
think
was it all
I'll have to look this up again, but I had seen some stories that it was almost by accident, where I guess in his ear he had lost communication with the control room, and so he was kind of stalling and lengthening what he was saying. I'll look up what happened about it, but it became such a big deal that he was interviewed just about this 2-minute monologue about this Royce O'Neal trade.
Don, I just sent the picture to our group chat that Incarcerated Bob just sent me of Windhorst to go with Incarcerated Bob's wacky theory. So here it is. Why would the Yankees make a move for Tyler Wade? Could it be that he is the confirmed best friend of Aaron Judge since the minor league days? Is this an early sort of move to warm things up, to keep old Judgy around?
Holy crap.
What do you think, Don?
No.
Could that be what do you think about Incarcerated Bob Windhorst?
I mean, I love what he's doing.
Why would they do that?
It did feel random when I saw they brought
I think
him
it's
back.
random, but you know what? It's a long season, and I guess he's a utility player. He can play several different positions, and they care so much about load management. It's a guy that I guess they can plug in to different places, but how is that going to make Aaron Judge want to sign a long-term contract at the end of the season that for the last half of what could be his final season, his best friend's on the team?
Maybe
now, if
it's
they had
just a
signed
little
him to where
spice.
he's going to be here for the foreseeable future, but
It's a very strange trade. Very strange trade.
Who knows, Don?
I like where his head's at. I love conspiracy theories. Some of them are foolish and make no sense, but I enjoy hearing them. I could watch a whole documentary on the history of conspiracy theories. I think that'd be phenomenal. But this one, I just don't. All right, so the end game is to make Aaron happy. Hey, listen, we just called up, we just made a trade for your best friend from the minor leagues, and he is going to be on the team here.
Right.
For the last year of your current contract. And I'm sure Judge is happy to see him, but you know what? Thank you. Let's sit down. Let's work this out. I'm not going to be a free agent. I'll take your offer from the beginning of the season. No, doesn't that...
Don, I think you're being... I think sometimes we have a tendency in media to be a little too literal. We're looking for the exact thing. Maybe it's more they were considering different people to bring in. They had an opportunity for Wade, and they just thought, listen, this isn't going to make Aaron Judge sign. Obviously, the numbers will have to make sense. But let's bring the kid back.
All right. Let me, because I want to make this work for Bob.
Okay.
All right. Could it have gone down this way? We need a utility guy. And Wade's available. But Brian Cashman, who's a mad scientist, says, let's ask Aaron about it. Make him part of the process, which athletes love. And he'll say, go out and get Tyler Wade. We'll make it seem like, hey, Aaron, that's a really good idea. Let's go get him, knowing all along that's what they were going to do. But make Judge feel like he was a part of it so that Judge thinks, wow, they really care about my opinion here. Maybe I want to stay here long term because maybe they'll, in the future, ask me more to be involved in the front office moves. I'm not sure that Brian Cashman would do that, but if that were the direction they went, I think that might have more of an impact on whether he stays or goes, right? a feeling like, hey, maybe they're letting me be involved in decisions. They listen to me.
Right. Now, our listener, Michael Petroselli, tweeted Don and said that the Wade contract is through arbitration through arbitration until 2025.
Okay, but I don't know if he's. I don't know if that means he's going to be on this team through 2025.
No, but it is a little different than if they were just getting him for the second half of the season.
Right, but I don't know, where, then obviously they'll assess things going forward, but I don't think that this is like, oh, well, he's going to be here for the entire length of the contract because, they get Judge to re-sign. They're still going to make decisions based on what's best for their team. But that could be just he asked for it, and they got it for him, and that gets him excited. That's the modern-day athlete. That's what we talk about in the NBA all the time. These guys want to feel like they're partners, that they have a say. Now, do I think Brian Cashman's going to allow Aaron Judge to start making decisions if he re-signs with the team? No, I don't think the Yankees work that way. But what would be the harm in getting Judge to think it works that way?
Let's go to Nick in Myrtle Beach. What's up, Nick?
Hey, guys. How you doing? I just wasn't really watching the show, and I saw the Yankee starting lineup, and I felt like venting. I don't understand whoever makes the lineup why they do this so much. IKF had 2 of their 6 hits yesterday, had a bases-clearing double, and he's sitting today. Why is he sitting? Gallo is starting. They wanted to play Gonzalez. They could have played Gonzalez out there in place of Gallo, who should not play. But they do that a lot with a player who has a big game, and then they sit him next time. I don't know why they do that. It's not
we didn't
good for
ask
the player's confidence.
Well, we didn't ask Aaron because with the you always get the gobbledygook of it, but they obviously don't look at what you did the night before. It's almost like a running joke for me, Nick, where I look at when Peter or Michael ask me, I always look at who had the big night the night before as that's probably the guy that's going to sit. You're going to get the typical, that this was the scheduled day that we wanted to give him. And I just think it is. That's why we call it roulette, Nick. Sometimes there's no logic. It's just 2 weeks ago they decided, you know what, when we get to that third game of the series against the Reds, let's let's rest them. I really think it comes down to that.
Hot, why don't they let them play? Sit them when they're in a slump.
This is how they want to play baseball. But that's the thing that's frustrating, Nick. They don't work that way. They look at it as, all right, does he need rest? Or this is I'd have to see what the matchup is against the pitcher. I can't imagine there's an extensive one. But it's really not about needing the rest. It's about the rest you're getting to accumulate it for later on in the season. Nick, you're preaching to the choir. We think it's ridiculous. But this is the logic that they have, and it was probably a planned day off for a couple of weeks. And just so happened, Peter, that he had a couple of hits and a few RBIs last night, and it looks bad that he's sitting today.
Let's go to Ryan in Comac. What's up, Ryan?
Hey, guys. How are you? Oh, congrats, by the way, Peter, on the engagement.
Thank you, man.
Nice. It's still going.
Oh, you're welcome. All right, so I'm calling about Benintendi, and it's not really so much about the vaccine. It's my opinion that I would still go after him. So we have 68 more games in the regular season that he wouldn't be able to play, or that he would, I'm sorry. 6 games that he couldn't, and then the potential of a playoff series where obviously those are the only games that matter. But we don't know that Toronto is going to make the playoffs. They're 4th in the division, 4th in the wild card. Benintendi's a phenomenal player, fielder, left-handed bat. I would still go after him. What do you guys think?
Well, I had said it yesterday, guys, that, I probably would too. You're talking about the second to last series of the regular season. They're in Toronto. So could that be a big deal if they're battling with the Astros for home field and you don't have a player for 3 straight days? Would it be embarrassing, Peter, if they played them in the postseason and he was unavailable? But they've got the last wild card spot, Toronto. They just fired their manager. You're not going to need him to make the playoffs. You should have everything clinched by then. There's a very good chance he wouldn't play in all 3 of the games anyway, as per the conversation we just had 30 seconds ago. I'd probably still do it. If it's right for the long term of the season, is it worth rolling the dice that you might have a series against Toronto and he would not be available for possibly 3 of them, because you would have home field against Toronto in the playoffs. So if you ended up playing them, say, in the League Championship Series, that you might not have him for games, what is it, 3, 4, and 5?
The question is it's risk versus reward. If there's another person you're considering, Don, who's slightly below Benintendi, but does not have this issue? Does that raise them above him? Because you don't even feel like dealing with the conversation. Like, you don't feel like getting to September and guys like us are starting to talk about, are they going to have him? If they go to Toronto, are they going to have him? Like, how much is just not worth it?
And is it also, Peter, worth the ask? Hey, would you get vaccinated if we trade you to the Yankees? Like, I don't know how he feels about it. Is it political? Is it health? Is it whatever? To where he's like, I'm in Kansas City. We're not going anywhere anyway. What does it matter? To where, hey, I got a chance to play for a World Series championship. They're asking me to get vaccinated, Woody. I don't know. I'm sure the Yankees could ask. And there's enough time, right, to have it not be an issue by the time you got to September, by the time you got to the playoffs. I don't know. I don't know what his motivation is to not be vaccinated.
A lot more of you to get to next, including several calls from Yankee fans. Guess who they're calling to complain about? You're not going to guess.
My mom makes fantastic meatballs.
We'll get to,
no. How about
we'll
no?
We'll get to that next. We'll get to that next. 1-800-919-3776. Peter and Don on the K Show on Yes and 98.7 ESPN.
The Michael K. Show on Yes is presented by Untuck It. Shirts designed to be worn untucked. Shop now at untuckit.com.
Caleb Gardner tweeted, "Can someone please explain Untuck It to me? I just don't understand the positioning. Shirts designed to be worn untucked have existed for a long, long time. Mr. Gardner, respectfully, there's a difference between a shirt that can be worn untucked and a shirt designed to be worn untucked. You could use a leaf blower as a hairdryer. You can use a shoe as a pillow. But wouldn't you rather have something designed specifically for what you need it for? Find your shirt today at untuckit.com.
Drizzly makes it easy to shop a huge selection of beer, wine, and liquor from wherever I am. I just open the app, find what I want, and it's at my door in under 60 minutes.
Drizzly.
Ding dong, Drizzly.
Use only your mind. Place the order now.
Order up for Dustin.
I don't have any money.
Whoa. What if somebody ordered pizza with their mind?
Actually, now there is a way to order pizza with your mind. What? With the new Domino's Mind Ordering app.
Every Sunday, watch the Yes Hyundai Sunday Game of the Week. Brought to you by your local Hyundai dealers and the stylish all-wheel drive Hyundai Tucson. Test drive one today or visit us at buyhyundai.com. Go this season.
The Liberty look like they're having fun.
The Liberty are lighting it up as all-stars Sabrina Ionescu and Natasha Howard, she's at the hot hand tonight, it continues, are leading the Libs mid-season push. Off the window! Liberty versus Sun, Tuesday morning at 11:30 on Yes and the Yes app.
It's been said that when someone you love has Parkinson's, you have Parkinson's. The truth is, Parkinson's disease doesn't just affect the diagnosed. It affects everyone who supports and helps care for them. Worldwide, over 10 million people are living with Parkinson's, a neurological disease that affects movement. And with so many places to search for information, it can be difficult to know where to begin. The Parkinson's Foundation has answers. Answers for everyone in the fight. We can help you understand the disease, help you find expert care, give you tips for living a better life, share the latest research, help you find local support, and there's a free helpline you can call. Find your answers and join us in the fight against Parkinson's. To learn more, please go to parkinson.org or call 1-800-4PD-INFO. The Parkinson's Foundation. Better lives together.
I used to have to go in to the auto parts store. Pay too much, never find quite what I'm looking for. Now I just go online to Rock Auto and see all the parts my car will ever need. Lower prices, more parts, more brands. It's so easy to find the right parts fast. All the parts your car will ever need. Rock Auto. All the parts your car will ever need. RockAuto.com.
Baseball's dead? Nah. We've got pitchers hitting grand slams, a team playing a four-man outfield, and the best crop of major league talent maybe ever. Baseball is alive and well, and it's about to get even better. Bet just $5 to win $150 in free bets automatically. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, sign up with the promo code, bet $5 to get $150, win or lose, and make it rain.
You could pick from hundreds of law firms for your mesothelioma or asbestos lung cancer case. But would you be confident that you made the best choice? Whites & Luxembourg is the firm that has represented more asbestos disease clients than any other firm in the metropolitan area. With 30 years experience, they have New York's highest recorded asbestos verdicts of all time. The choice is clear, and the stakes could not be higher.
Whites & Luxembourg has our backs.
Call Whites & Luxembourg today.
Call 1-888-411-LAWS. That's 1-888-411-LAWS.
Add drama to every drive. The exhilarating Audi SUV family. Get exceptional offers at your local Audi dealer.
I felt the connection with Brooklyn before I ever stepped foot in the borough.
Oh yeah, that changed the entire culture of the franchise.
It's unbelievable, and I can listen to these stories all day. I'm telling you, the fascination is real. I appreciate you, man.
The stars are out tonight. This is so much fun to watch. He put it into orbit. Razzle dazzle. Oh, next level.
Shut it down. It's what champions are made of.
Baseball is back. It should be fun.
Well, you hear that, you know what it means. It means it's time to get those Keith Urban tickets right now. PNC Bank Card Center, Friday, July 29th. Caller 1-888-987-ESPN to score a pair of tickets to see Keith Urban, all from Live Nation. Tickets are on sale now at livenation.com. Don, let's go back to the phones.
Do it.
Talk to the people before we get to ENN at 6. I'm going to guess again, Anthony, is ENN a Ray-Row only
vehicle? Ray-Row only vehicle, yes.
So if you want to be a part of ENN,
Ray-Row,
there's a lot to get to. Find a radio, turn on 98.7, or listen on the ESPN New York app. You can still leave Yes on and watch the BP show. But listen to ENN at 6 o'clock. Let's go to Scott in Metuchen. Metuchen, sure.
Hey there, you almost got that right.
So close.
Yeah, you were pretty close, and actually, I think you're the really good reader on the show, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct. That's correct.
Love this show. Love the show. I was wondering where Kay was, but I guess he's on vacation.
He'll be in tomorrow. It's our 20th anniversary. He will be in tomorrow.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. He could actually fit his head in the door.
Whoa. Whoa.
Wow.
That's a good one. That's a good one. No, I love the show. Seriously. Don, why is Joey Gallo in the lineup tonight?
Well, I would say why not?
Well,
I'm not being sarcastic. It's a right-handed pitcher. He's on the team.
True.
Okay? It's the Cincinnati Reds. And I know you've struggled against them in this series, but yeah.
Why not, I guess, right?
Because, well, what you're trying to do is if you're the Yankees, you want to plan an exit strategy for them. Now, the easy thing to do is by the time you get to the playoffs is you release them, whatever. But the idea is maybe this guy gets hot, And maybe there's going to be some team out there that needs a left-handed bat, and we can maybe make a deal so we get something for him before we let him go. So I would think, I don't know how he's done against Castillo in his career, whatever. I didn't do the math on that. But, Peter, why not?
Don, I got to break in here with some breaking news. No. Yankees tweeting out that prior to tonight's game with the Reds, the following roster moves have been made. They've reinstated Jonathan Loaizaga from the 15-day. They've selected Ryan Weber to the 26-man roster from AAA. And they've placed Luis Severino on the 15-day IL. Low-grade lat strain.
Okay. Well, we had Boone on, and he had mentioned that Loaizaga was coming back. And the way he put it was, I don't see how we're avoiding the IL. So it seemed like he was preparing himself for that. So 15 days, 2 or 3 starts, depending on how it all kind of falls. And I look at this as a good thing.
Go ahead.
All right, you already know his velocity was down and he was hurting. So you don't want like a DeGrom situation from last year where, no, he's fine, we're not going to put him on the IL, he's going to work through it, only to eventually end up on the IL anyway. All right? Get him on the IL, it's July, figure out what the problem is, and then come back a couple of weeks from now and start to pitch and get back to the full effectiveness rather than have something linger, Peter, and then just when you need him, you end up not having him. So if he's got the IL, isn't it better now than you find out starting the playoffs he's not available for you? Or in September when you're battling the Astros for first overall and you don't have one of your best pitchers available? So do it now.
Let's go to Will. Happen. Let's go to Will in North Carolina. What's up, Will?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
What's up?
I thought I was gonna have a chance to listen to a few more phone calls, bashing Joey Gallo and this and that and the next thing. I was just calling to say, leave the kid alone. You know what I'm saying? It's just like Don said. Maybe they just they want him to go out there and have him audition for teams for trades later on or whatever. But it's like you guys have been saying, he's not. And I'm one that has been saying since the beginning of the season, get rid of the kid. But he really isn't hurting the team. He's not hurting the team. He's not doing anything that's detrimental to them losing any ball games. He strikes out. We know what he is. Move on. Yeah. What we need to concentrate on now, being that you have a couple of unknowns, I just heard the update about Severino and stuff like that. Domingo Germán, who knows what you're going to get when he comes back. Aroldis Chapman, who knows what happens with him. He looked great last night, but you know how he can be sometimes. So let's all, if we're going to start going on Twitter rants and stuff like that, let's concentrate on getting a pitcher. Leave Joey Gallo alone. Hey. He's a good kid. He's liked in the clubhouse.
It's a great thought, Will. I love where your head's at with this because I get fans want to complain. I've already accepted that in all sports, but especially with the Yankees. You want something to complain about? Complain about the starting pitching right now. Severino just went on the IL. Cortez doesn't look like the pitcher he was early. Taillon doesn't look like the pitcher he looked early. Holmes has had a couple of bad outings. The bullpen looks very hittable right now. So if you want something to be concerned about that. But all they complain about is Gallo, who's not hurting them. Chapman, who they won't let hurt them because they didn't even come into the game on Saturday because they didn't want him in a big spot. So, Peter, if you want to complain, there are things you can complain about. But it's weird when they get these fetishes. Like, now Gallo just becomes a thing. Stan became a thing.
Well, speaking of which, let's go to Keith in Hoboken. What's up, Keith?
Hey, what's going on, Peter and Don?
What's up?
Love the show. You guys are great, holding it down while wherever Michael is. But
thank you.
You never know what's going on with him.
It's a great point.
But yeah, a little bit more about the Gallo. I'm looking at it. I am a Yankee fan, I will say that. But with anyone who's usually struggling in the lineup, why don't they just send him down to the minor league so he can work on his bat, figure it out, and bring it back up?
I don't think he's got options at this point.
I hear the other callers. The other thing is, maybe we're missing out on the chance for, someone in the minor leagues to get them reps on the big stage, when playoff time comes, if Joey doesn't figure it out. So just wanted to hear your guys' take on
Well,
that.
I don't. First of all, I think he's at the stage of his career now where he can refuse an assignment down to the minor leagues. So that's not going to work. And Duhar had options. That's why he was sent down. I hear that too, Peter, a lot, because fans are looking for a reason to criticize him, and people, after my rant, painstakingly trying to figure out how he's hurting the team. He's taking a position away from somebody who could do better. Well, if the Yankees felt like there was somebody that was definitely going to do better, they probably would give that player the chance. But you heard Aaron Boone. He's a sparkling glove. I forget exactly how Aaron described it, but like a tremendous defender. We had Anthony Rizzo on. He talked about what a great teammate he is. These things factor in beyond just what you see on Yes every night when he goes 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. So they're not going to just send him down to the minors. Now, eventually, they're going to have to plan an exit strategy. And don't you think, Peter, the best one would be to trade him for something? Well, how are you supposed to trade Gallo for something with a 168 batting average and not playing?
What do you exactly?
So maybe he runs into a couple of home runs tonight, and some team goes, "Oh, look at Gallo, he's getting hot. Maybe I'll give you a minor leaguer for him." And then bang, you've rid Gallo of your from your team and no longer a problem. How are you supposed to get anything by sitting him down or releasing him now?
Cody in Rockland thinks that Gallo absolutely hurts this Yankee team. Isn't that right, Cody?
Yeah, that's right, Peter. I mean, how does an automatic out 3 times a game not hurt your lineup? I mean, we lost the Reds by 1 run the other day. I know we blew the lead, but God forbid a productive batter had a home run or something.
But he won 1 for 3 in that game, and they pinched it for him in the 9th inning.
I'm just using that game as a reference. I'll give you that, but I mean, how can you possibly say, essentially, what's he batting, under 100? An automatic out doesn't hurt your lineup or team? That's crazy.
Because you just heard that he's an outstanding defender in the corners. Aaron Boone said that. You don't think defense is important? He's got almost a 400 on base percentage in the month of July. So he does walk. I don't like him either, Cody. But again, how often has offense been the reason why you lost games? You scored a ton of runs against Boston. You couldn't defend. Your bullpen couldn't hold a lead. You lost to the Reds because your bullpen blew a 3-0 lead in the 9th inning. So I need you to tell me where a Joey Gallo at bat cost you a chance to win.
Because we have younger guys we could bring up and give a chance. Let's give Florial a chance. What about Andujar? Can we bring him up and give him a chance?
Well, because they don't love Andujar's glove. So he had options. They sent him down. I mean, all the fans are in love with Andujar. Doesn't it look like the Yankees aren't? You look at the batting average, you look at what he does at the plate, the Yankees are telling you he's got a good on-base percentage and he's got a great glove. So they see value in him. I'm with you. I don't think he's any good either. And eventually they'll get rid of him. But what would your record be with somebody else? Let's say Andujar batted 9th every night. Would your record be any better?
It wouldn't be as painful to watch. It's just painful watching him get up.
How painful is it? You win almost every night. I mean, all right, you lost 3 straight, but is it to that level, Cody? That it's painful to watch a team with the best record in baseball because he goes 0 for 4?
No, it's not painful to watch the whole team. It's painful to watch Joey Gallo get up. That's why we complain. And there's not a lot to complain about. But when your guy gets up the plate and you know he's going to get out, it's frustrating. And you got to try something new every once in a while.
But why is it frustrating when you continue to win? What does it matter?
Because there's a glaring hole.
You Yankee fans are going to a restaurant every night, Cody, and at the restaurant, you're enjoying your meal every day, Don, and it's really just delicious. But they have like one dessert item that stinks, and that's all you can talk about. Let me tell you something about this lemon meringue, Don. It's the worst lemon meringue you've ever had in your life. Yeah, but the steak is fantastic. The nachos are to die for. The baked potato is something to write home about. You're weeping over the chicken tenders. And all you want to talk about is the damn lemon meringue pie.
But even that, I could see how it affects your dinner, because a bad dessert can affect your dinner. But, But it's like you enjoyed your dinner, but
you order a hot fudge sundae and call it a day.
But it's almost like, Peter, like Cody enjoyed his dinner, but he was upset that your lemon meringue pie wasn't any good. I don't
because it's still a win.
But because ultimately, you're all right. So he might be torture to watch. He's an automatic out. You don't get why he's still on the team. But every week, Aaron Boone comes on and says he's got a great glove. So defense is part of it. He's got a pretty good on-base percentage in the month of July, which is something they look at as value, a base runner. The game he mentioned, they lost 4-3 to the Reds in the first game of the series. Maybe a little bit more offense, Peter. They wouldn't have blown that 3-run lead in the ninth inning. Well, Gallo went 1 for 3, and they pinch hit for him in the ninth inning. And guess what? Judge pinch hit for him and struck out.
1-800-919-3776. All your calls next, plus ENN at 6. Peter and Don on the K Show on Yes 98.7 ESPN.
We're celebrating 50 years of Popeye's Signature Chicken with a deal you'll love. Now for just $6.99, takes 50 years of crunchy, juicy chicken we've been serving since 1972. Get the 5-piece while you can for just $6.99.
Hey, big man. Oh, hey. Dave told me you got some kind of great system for betting that really works.
That's true.
What is it? Is it like home dogs? No. It's bird mascots.
No, I just use FanDuel's responsible gaming tools like time and spending limits to manage my play.
That's the system.
Hasn't failed me yet.
Cool. You know what, man? I'm just going to keep this between you and me.
It's not a secret, Bob.
Every bettor has a system. Make FanDuel's responsible gaming tools a key part of yours. It's more fun that way.
With Drizzly, I can shop a huge selection of beer, wine, and liquor. I just open the app, and it's at my door in under 60 minutes. Drizzly also lets me shop from multiple stores in my area and compare prices on thousands of products.
Ding dong, Drizzly.
Make more good in the all-new Sportage X-Pro. Kia, movement that inspires.
Get trending with off-field fashion as designers from FIT style celebrities from the sports world and beyond. Off-field fashion, exclusively on the S app.
Tonight, the Yanks are seeing Reds as they wrap up their series with Cincinnati.
Monster home run!
And during the telecast, Yes highlights a special charity auction in support of the Anthony Rizzo Foundation. Yankees Red Series coverage continues tonight at 6 on Yes, New York's most watched sports network.
Hi, Surfer Dude, what's up? I see you looking at me. Take those earbuds out of your ears and come talk to me. I'm the Big C.
What is the Big C?
I'm here to tell you about skin cancer.
Hello?
Did you know your risk for melanoma doubles if you had more than 5 sunburns?
No.
Listen, mirrors don't lie. And more than 2 people die from skin cancer every hour.
Oh, man. That's terrible.
If we see something new, changing, or unusual, that could be skin cancer.
Is there skin cancer on me right now?
I'm not a dermatologist, but you know who is?
Yeah.
Your dermatologist. Come closer. That tiny spot on your nose could be the end of you. You guys checking yourselves out in the mirror right now? That could be skin cancer. The good news is, if you catch it early enough, you can be A-OK. You gotta get checked, girl.
Do I?
Yes! Everybody has to get checked. See the Big C today.
Every Sunday, watch the Yes Hyundai Sunday Game of the Week. Brought to you by your local Hyundai dealers and the stylish all-wheel drive Hyundai Tucson. Test drive one today or visit us at buyhyundai.com.
How do you know what Patty likes?
Well, Constant Contact's data shows me what Patty responds to.
I didn't know what I liked until I met Pauline.
She likes flank steak.
It feels great to be seen.
Sunshine on my shoulder makes me happy. If I had a day that I could give you, I'd give to you a day
just like today.
Spoon, I just want to congratulate you on getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. Ever since a rookie, I came into this league. You've been showing me the ropes, showing me what it is and how to, play this New York type basketball, especially for this organization. And I thank you for just putting your arms around me and, taking me with you along this ride. Thank you.
Congratulations, Boone. Thank you for everything. Thank you for the workouts, the motivation, the energy you bring every day to practice. We appreciate you for everything, and you deserve this.
And these are the shirts Jules and I are holding up. Jules has the front. This is the back. I'm holding the back. Every fan
Hold
tonight.
that teaspoon here.
Yeah, every fan tonight got one of these commemorative Teresa Weatherspoon T-shirts. A very nice job by the Liberty organization, recognizing greatness, getting inducted into the Naismith Memorial Hall of Fame.
Hey everyone, I'm Ali Melendez. Join me for a brand new series, Well Life NYC, exclusively on the Yes app. We're taking a wellness journey to explore what New Yorkers are doing to be their happiest and healthiest selves. From workout classes, I feel good, I feel set up for success, to relaxation, to finding the proper balance. So fresh. Let's get well, New York. I am so excited to get into this. Let's do it. Woo! Stream new episodes of Well Life NYC now on the Yes app.
Yes has your VIP access to all the action as the Bronx Bombers chase down a 28th championship.
Watch New York Yankees baseball all season long on Yes.
Yankees fans, this is the podcast for you. Subscribe to Curtain Call today.
Let's hit a leaderboard update, shall we? 98.7 ESPN leaderboard update brought to you by Superbook Sports. Superbook Sports, it's live in New Jersey. Visit superbook.com for all the latest odds and promotions. Have a problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Don was locked in to the Open Championship today.
Locked in, meaning locked myself in a room so I couldn't see it.
He called me earlier. It was strange, Andrew, and Don just said, I've had a complete change of heart. And I said, what do you mean? He said, not only do I love the game of golf, but I really love the Open Championship in particular. He said, it's just me. And I can't believe it wasn't me before, but it's me. And then he was talking with a British accent. It was strange.
If I ever came around on golf, which would be never, right? Started playing it, started getting interested in it. This Open,
you'd be sick and by till the day you die.
There's no sun. It's just dank and dark. And you talk about how aesthetically pleasing the Masters is. This is the complete opposite. It's like they're playing on the moon.
Yeah. No, it looks like garbage. Tiger Woods played like garbage, unfortunately. Not the outing he was looking for in day one. When it was all said and done for Tiger, where did he end up here, Anthony? Was he at 7 over?
He was 6 over with 2 holes left.
And he finished 6 over as well. So Tiger's 14 off the pace. Cameron Young at 8 under. Rory McIlroy hanging out in second place at 6 under par for day one. Cameron Smith at 5 under. Dustin Johnson at 4. Lee Westwood at 4. Bryson DeChambeau, 3 under par. Xander Schauffele, Don's favorite, 3 under. So a lot of major players in contention, both LIV players and PGA players, all in contention at the Open Championship. But Tiger Woods well off the pace.
It does feel like these LIV players better enjoy this because I don't know if they're going to be invited back.
Yeah, it may not. This idea of them, it seems like I could see this going away too. Let's go to David in Manhattan. David, what's up?
Thanks, Peter. Thanks, Don. Love the show with or without Michael. It's kind of I'm not sure if it's what the question exactly would be, but why can't Yankee fans and the New York press enjoy the success of the Yankees to date now? Their winning percentage is .705, and it's just absolutely painful sometimes to hear the scrutiny that they're under.
Well, give me an example of the press. I know the fans, David, but how has the press been negative?
If you're listening and just even recently, Don, just a second ago, you made it sound like the breaks, the accident on the freeway just occurred with a 3-game losing streak. I must say, the fan who just called in after you mentioned that, they sounded in much more of alarm or in panic mode. But in discussing Joey Gallo over and over again, I mean, let's revel in the successes and try to enjoy. I mean, what a phenomenal season they're
Well, I
having.
mean, I don't know if it's the media's job to enjoy or not enjoy, but we take them as we come. David, the calls come about Gallo, we take them. I don't think we've ever had one meeting where we said, we got to talk about Joey Gallo's struggles. No, we get phone calls about them. And as far as observing, Severino going in the IL is kind of a big deal. What's happened to the bullpen over the last few games is maybe not a big deal, Peter, but all I'm saying is you want something to be concerned about. I'm not telling you to be concerned, but if you want something, there are other things besides Joey Gallo. But I get sensitive about the media, Peter, because I don't think it's our job to be rooting for the teams. We take the stories as they come.
Well, and also we don't, and I would say I take exception to, we don't deserve to get ridiculed because the listeners on our show complain endlessly about the Yankees. It's not us. That's literally, we've spent the last 3 days yelling at fans, why are you getting on Joey Gallo? You're focused on the wrong thing. And so I'm sure the caller's a great guy. But in this case, I think he's way out of line there. I mean, at least to say it on this show. Frankly, I feel, Don, I'm looking for ways to beat up on the Yankees. I can't do it. You know why? Because I'm not a hack. We're not going to make things up. There is nothing to really be worried about. Yeah, there's some, you can say, hey, the rotation appears like it may be not what we expected it to be. But to the point that Boone made, it's a long season. To completely jump out the window right now would be foolhardy, too.
Yeah, and I thought you were good with Boone, too, about, the nitpicking, because when you're interviewing a manager, you can praise so much, but you kind of have questions, and questions usually surround, negative, and there hasn't been a lot negative, but you try to, Severino just got hurt. I mean, so that's a big deal. We're going to say goodbye to Yes.
We're going to say goodbye to Yes, and I want to tell everyone, Yes, go to the ESPN New York app right now and continue to listen, or listen on the radio at 98.7, and tomorrow, right here at 3 p.m., none other than Michael Kay and Don LaGreca will be taking over your airwaves. We will see you tomorrow, Yes, and we will continue on.
That's a wrap on the show for today. Coming up next hour, coverage of the Yankees and Reds gets underway with BPTV. For all of us here on the Michael Kay Show, this is Chris Sheard saying have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow when Michael Kay rejoins the show to get you ready for Yanks and Red Sox. The Michael Kay Show on Yes is presented by Untuck It. Shirts designed to be worn untucked. Shop now at untuckit.com.
10 years ago, we started Untuck It out of my apartment, and today we have more than 80 stores worldwide.
It's been quite a journey. We didn't just create shirts designed to be worn untucked, we perfected them. With great